Well, a very good afternoon. Warm welcome to live stream coverage of this final group stage match in the Vitality Blast. Both myself and Cameron Emmanuel Burns in situ. This is the last game for both of these sides. Dave Fulton here, former Kent captain, and as I mentioned, Cameron Emmanuel Burns, my sidekick for pretty much all of this campaign, which will come to an end at the end of this match. It's a beautiful day here at the Spitfire ground, St Lawrence. Not quite as hot as it has been, about 25, 26 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky. The Guard of Honour deal Victoria Barnes Cricket Clubs and youngsters for there. Kent have won the toss. They've opted to bowl. One change from the team the other night. In comes Jayden Denley for Matt Milne. So a T20 Blast debut for Jayden. Good to see him alongside Ekant Singh in the middle order. A couple of young players getting a belated opportunity. Cam, got a funny feel about it, isn't it? Nice crowd in, not as packed as Friday night for what is essentially a dead rubber, but there's Jayden Denley at the front there with his hands on his hips. Plenty to play for still. Absolutely, and for me, I'm really looking forward to hopefully some good quality of cricket. We've seen a bit of a lack of it the last few games. Pressure's off for both sides. Kent obviously in fourth and Middlesex fifth in the table, and so I'm hoping to see, especially with the bat, a bit of quality from this Kent side, because the talent is clearly there, and obviously seeing Jayden later, a man you know very well, of course, exciting for that. But yes, and I think it's crucial that we won the toss. Yeah, good toss to win. We saw the crowd in there. There's Ekant Singh with his hands behind his back. Jayden Denley with his arms folded. And I did see his uncle. There he is, Joe Denley, just running his hand through his hair. He's got that shin injury, hasn't he? But yeah, it's lovely to see. I guess the changing of the guard. Talking of the guard, here is the Guard of Honour. But yeah, Joe Denley been a fantastic servant for Kent, 40 years of age. It's James Treadwell right of screen, who've graced this ground on many occasions as Sam Billings leads the Spitfires out. We're running through the two teams in full in just a second, but they want to finish in style. The Royal London One Day Cup is around the corner. Several players missing because of the 100, of course, but Kent will be pretty well stocked with talent nonetheless. And we're expecting to do well in that competition, so hope to take a bit of momentum through. And nice to sign off the Blast campaign with a win. Jayden Denley, fresh off a 70 yesterday for Whitstable in the Kent League. Wasn't quite enough to see us get up against Blackheath, but he's been in good touch. Great 100 and a 5 for against Tunbridge Wells 3 weeks ago. So I think he's playing at a good time. And by the looks of it, because I don't know much about Mr. Boyle, might be a few youngsters on show for Middlesex as well. So welcome our listeners from there. Good to have everyone with us. Sam Billings looks upwards. If we've got a Spitfire fly past for this game, I'm not sure, but there's certainly a low-flying aircraft somewhere. Hassan Mahmood, we'll see a little bit of him. He was one of the few players to impress on Friday night. With good pace, got the 1 wicket to fall as Kent were trounced by Surrey. Billings had some pretty strong words after that performance. That's the plate. It's not a Spitfire, but just having a closer look at the ground. Not a bad view from up there. So the think tank, Billings and Crawley.
10, 9,
we are very close to getting underway.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go Spitfires!
It will be the Aussie Tom Rogers take the first rock. Finding his length straight away. Rogers, who's had a mixed season, plighted by injury and then absolutely smashed by Laurie Evans on Friday night, but he has good memories of playing Middlesex first game of the season, taking 4 for back then. Hopefully we'll be repeating the same performance today.
Yeah, Kent winning that reverse fixture by 27 runs, opening match of the campaign. They looked a good side back then, the Spitfires. Started with a couple of wins. It's been an interesting one, Rogers, isn't it? Because he suffered that injury, and I think he made such a good impression when he first came over that Kent were keen to get him back. But it's always a risky run, isn't it? Happened with Wes Agar a little bit, and he didn't come back quite the same cricketer. I think Rogers, it'd be fair to say, has not quite hit his best form post-injury. And yet Keith Dudgeon, who Kent took a similar risk with, has had a pretty decent season in all forms. These guys come over and give a good account of themselves. You want to kind of repay that loyalty.
flick onto that De Caires, get Middlesex off the mark. See, De Caires is a son of famous England captain, Mike Atherton, and interesting to see him opening up here. He's seen more as a longer form player, but he's got an 80 this season and a pretty changed side this for Middlesex. It was Rossington who opened the batting he was on a short-term contract in that first game, smashed 79 odd against us. And now it's the first time we'll get to see a bit of the New Zealand overseas. Matt Boyle, interesting story of Free Bridges fame. I don't know if you would have seen them on YouTube, Mr. Fulton, but he certainly loves to give the ball a tonk. Yeah, the 23-year-old just beginning his career. He plays for Canterbury, not to be confused with where we are situated now, but Canterbury in New Zealand, and made his New Zealand A debut in April against Sri Lanka and hit a nice 80 odd there. So he's a man on the up. He's had a few 30s. But a man, Middlesex, he have a lot of talent. Straight away, lovely swing, and crisply hit past. Is that Bell Drummond there at mid-on, and that races away down to the pavilion for 4. Getting a bit full there is Rogers, seeing if there's any swing early on, and he gets dispatched straight back past him. First boundary of the day.
Yeah, nice looking stroke that. Interesting to see. There he goes, the left-hander.
Got a length, and is that first touch of the ball, young Jaden?
You across the women's match as well today. It's T20 finals day. Sophia Gardens in Cardiff. Kent in pursuit of a victory target in the first semi-final against Gloucestershire women of 160. They're 72 for 7, so struggling. A pretty decent campaign for the horses, but barring, going to need something fairly miraculous down there if they're to get over the line. 72 for 7, chasing 160. So here is the aforementioned Hassan Mahmood from the Nackington Road end. He will bowl at a lively pace. He's been an excellent signing. That's Crawley was telling me about his rocket Yorker. We saw it the other night. Gone past the outside edge of the Caires, just held up the hill a fraction, died on its way through to Sam Billings. Not sure if this is the same pitch. It might well be that we played on Friday night. Cam's nodding. I felt that pitch had a bit of pace in it early on, but a couple of days later, and with the hot sun, you might find that some of that pace has just gone out of it, and that ball died on its way through to Billings.
He's changed ends this to start off with. He was from the pavilion end. He started off our bowling innings against Surrey, and he's changed ends. This is the end where he was successful and taking Laurie Evans off pole out the ground. Obviously taking a liking to it. He'll be using that slope, which will take it in to the 2-1 to De Caires here.
Pulling, but well reeled in at mid-wicket by Jake Lintott, diving away to his right. Didn't get all of it, De Caires. Again, just a hint that it's sluggish, this surface. Bottom half of the bat. Hit it well enough. It would have gone for 4. It's a good bit of work from Lintott. Oh, half a chance. Got hold of this one, De Caires. That'll run away for 4 down the hill. Just for a second there. We had a pretty good view of it. It's coming straight at us. Jake Lintott's left hand, his stronger side. Just tried to reel it in. Just got past him, couldn't quite tell on that particular replay. And he was about 2 or 3 inches away from grabbing that. He was travelling. Cares opens his boundary count. Kent, remember, winning the toss, opting to bowl first. The one change, Jaden Denley coming in for Matt Milnes. Oh, that's close. And he's gone, his back leg. Wasn't going over the top. He's a skiddy bowler, Hassan Mahmood. And De Caires hitting across the line, trying to repeat the dose through mid-wicket. He has to go for 5. Kent are on the board, Middlesex 9 for 1.
Super start this from Mahmood and Kent. This is why a lot in these parts are very excited about him. See a lot more. Obviously, he's going to be here for the duration of... I'm not sure about the Metro, but he's definitely going to be here bowling in the county championship, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of that. It's 3rd wicket for the Spitfires.
That brings the very experienced Max Holden out. Get another little look at this wicket here. You can just see what De Caires is thinking. It's not a bad option. Sluggish pitch, try and go over the leg side, but he didn't quite get the length he was after. It's a little bit premeditated, trying to hit that back of a length ball off the front foot over mid-wicket. He's hitting down the hill with the slope, but couldn't repeat the shot before, which was a fuller length and an easier ball to hit in that direction. Max Holden, left-hander, England Lions batter.
And good touch, coming off the back of 250s.
He's a good player. Yeah, really good player. When I first saw him, he was England under-19 at a World Cup, but he was an old-fashioned, good technique. Didn't, smash it around, but looked very solid, and he's developed lots of flicks and tricks, and he's got a bit of power these days too. Well, we're not going to see any power from Holden. Oh, we might do. It's a no ball. What a reprieve. Just about to say he's on his way. The arm is outstretched, and how lucky is that for Max Holden? You get clean. The batters are laughing, and why wouldn't you? You get cleaned up with an absolute beauty first ball, and you think that's your day done. Nip back, flick the top of the off bail, and the umpire's arm is outstretched, and he cannot believe his luck. He now gets a free hit.
Wow, what a swing of emotions for us and the Commonwealth, the fielders, the batters themselves. Oh, not only that, is that near 4 byes. That's raced away to the boundary as well.
Did it go for 4 byes, did it?
Not byes, sorry, 4. Obviously, no. Yeah, it's
no balls, but yeah,
no
still,
balls, yeah.
Still byes.
Yep.
Yep, Sam Billings needs to jump a bit higher. That's a shocker. Yeah, nicely bowled. Didn't bounce through the Billings, but it was the off-pace delivery. Very cleverly disguised. So Holden lives to find another ball or two. And, that could have been a very, very good over for the Spitfires. Still, 1 wicket at the end of De Caires. Just running through the sides then. So Kent winning the toss. Jaden Denley in for Matt Milnes. So it's Mayeye, Drummond, Crawley, Billings, Finch, Jaden Denley. No Joe Ekant Singh, Grant Stewart, who is just being bellowed out by Ben Roddy. He's match announcing again for us today. Grant Stewart, Tom Rogers, Jake Lintop, and Hassan Mahmood, who we've just seen in action. The successful Kent bowler. Middlesex, Josh De Caires, who's gone. Matt Boyle, Max Holden, loose deploy. Ben Geddes. I'll run you through the rest in just a second.
Thinking of 2. Side against it. Finch rapid in the outfield, keeping that to 1.
Ben Geddes down about at 5, and it's Joe Cracknell who can give it a mighty thump. He's going to keep wicket. Luke Holman, Zafar Gohar, Ethan Bosch, Tom Helm, Avya Sharma.
Well, I know that you were sprinting over here from the hospitality work just before this. Did you catch the breaking news? The big news?
Did catch the breaking news. It was actually broken while I was interviewing the great Julian Thompson, who was my guest in hospitality, a doctor who graced the Spitfire ground for 4 or 5 years in the end of the 90s.
Something a bit inventive there, a little flick, not getting hold of it. Thoughts then, Mr. Fulton?
Well, I mean, Brendan is going to carry on, isn't he, as white ball coach. I think when he took the job initially and he was being linked with the different coaching roles for England, a lot of people assumed it would be the white ball role because he did so much for white ball cricket for New Zealand. Obviously got them to the 2015 World Cup final as captain. So I think a lot of people thought that might be the better fit right at the start.
Let's fire that one from Stuart down the leg side.
And then, of course, he came in and England started playing this attacking brand of cricket and winning series and sweeping everything before them. And it seemed like a bit of a masterstroke. Obviously, results have fallen off a bit of a cliff since. And those guys have been under a bit of pressure. Stokes has retired. McCullum has gone in the test team.
Good bit of smart fielding from Jane Denley. He's an all-round performer, isn't he, Denley? Obviously with the bat, but he gives us left-arm off-spin, which I think is great for this side. With his uncle not being in it, we've lost out on his leg spin. So the next Denley off the rank gives us that bit of tweakers as well, and he's a really tremendous athlete in the field.
Yep, agree with all the above.
Again, not that much life in this wicket.
No, I wonder if that was an off-pace delivery as well, but you're right. I think that the heat has sucked the life out of this pitch. Same one as Friday when it whistled through. All the likes of Topley and Chris Jordan and Jordan Clark really getting it to fly through. Yeah, to go back to Brendan McCullum, I think he's done a wonderful, well, he certainly in the beginning did a wonderful job. I think people have got short memories. We were 1 from 17 before the McCullum-Key-Stokes axis.
Might found the gap that time, he has. So now a boundary here for the New Zealander. There's 2 men out on the leg side, but it dissected them beautifully. Nicely timed, dug in this time. Perhaps, was that on pace, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit too short on a slow surface. And also, thank you very much. Yeah, so we just watch this space. Fingers crossed we can get back to winning ways. I mean, what has been terrific to see was the T20 performances.
Hurry through for 1. So, do you think the correct decision to take the test?
You know, I'm not close enough to it to judge. I think that probably something needed to change, but I also know that Brendan is very highly rated in that group, and that you wouldn't have wanted to have lost him completely. So perhaps this is a way of reinvigorating the test team, where performances, you know, the test team are a team in transition, let's be honest, especially with Ben Stokes retiring. When Stokes and Key and McCullum took over, there was Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad and Johnny Bairstow. You know, a lot of these senior players have left. So it's a team very much in transition, and you know, the rebuild has begun. But with a new coach and a new captain, there's an opportunity to potentially go in a new direction. So I think exciting times as we see a change of end from Rogers. This one nailed wide of mid-off. And Boyle is going to get another boundary. So he's making a good early impression. 13 off 7, 27 for 1 in the 4th over. But the timing was interesting, wasn't it? Because the test series against New Zealand finished and that T20 international series started almost straight away, like a couple of days later, which just shows you how nuts the schedule is, really. Because a lot of those players, I mean, Harry Brook was involved in that test series. He's then captaining in white ball cricket 2 days later. Rogers is just punched down the ground. He's not going to get a single. Daniel Drummond does the fielding. So it's almost like, when do you let someone go? Because if that happened on the there was all the stuff going on with Ben Stokes, I think it made sense to just take a breath. The decision's been made now, can understand the reasons behind it. Brendan's going to carry on with the white ball team, which is doing some really good things. So I would view it as an exciting opportunity to go in a slightly different direction, get some new ideas in. Hopefully we can move forwards.
Yeah, I agree. I think what's interesting, though, obviously there's a lot of questions up in the air with the Pakistan series starting. Well, it's still a bit of a time, mid-August, I believe. Who's going to be, obviously, the coach now? Who's going to be the skipper? I think it's great that McCullum's sticking around with the white balls. You can see there's been a lot of improvement. Did well in the World Cup, and this series just gone. The bookies' favourite is, of course, Brooks going to take over the captaincy for the Test side. But then do you think, as a former skipper yourself, he can do both that and the white ball stuff for England?
One is swatted away by Boyle to deep square. Well, I think he can do both. I'm not sure he will do both. He might well. He's the obvious choice. He's been vice captain. He was quite heavily endorsed by Ben Stokes in his kind of leaving press conference. And usually your vice captain then takes over the mantle of captain. But the advantage of having a new coach coming in is that he'll have his own ideas. And he might be at odds with how Harry Brook wants to take the team forwards, which might mean there's a different leader. We'll have to watch this space. Where's that gone? It's gone fine, and diving is Hassan Mahmood. Good bit of work. Keeps it down to a single.
You kind of feel that with keeping McCullum as the white ball coach, and he seems to have a good rapport and good relationship with Harry Brooks, and then it makes sense to perhaps keep that partnership in place.
Yeah, and it might be a case that there's a different relationship and a different captain for test formats. They are two very different games. Harry Brook is talented enough to play all formats for England, but definitely captaining all formats will take its toll. We saw the toll it began to take on Ben Stokes, as this one is cannon into the thigh pad of Ball, and there'll be no run. So it concludes the fourth over. 29 for 1 Middlesex. Holden is 2 from 6. Yet to really get going. Ball 14 off 11. Looks hard work out there. Sluggish surface and not a huge amount of intensity in this match, given it's a dead rubber. It's a lovely day and it's good to have a decent crowd in and a couple of decent sides to watch. But when there's not much on the line other than a bit of pride, that little edge that you get, competitive edge, can just mean the game is played at a slightly different pace. But what it also means is that Sam Billings can turn to some of his younger players and see what they're made of. Ekant Singh only got to go really late in the day, and Surrey had wrapped the game up, or the game is in its infancy still here. He's going to bowl in the power play, so this is a good move from Billings, and we want to see these young fellas under pressure.
A good bit of pace, hasn't he, Singh? Even from last year, I read that he's put a lot of work into his bowling over the winter to put on a yard or two of pace, and you can see that. I remember you mentioning on Friday that, of course, when he came into the setup, he was very much a batter, but now he's really grown into an all-rounder. Very useful. Bit of an ugly swipe back from Holden.
Well, what I like about, I mean, there's a lot to like about Ekant Singh's game all round, but yeah, he was a batter who bowled a little bit of gentle medium pace, but probably didn't take his bowling especially seriously. So credit to the coaching staff, credit to him first and foremost for putting in the work, and he really has put in a lot of work. I used to see him at lunchtime. I might be commentating for the radio, and he'd be bowling into a mitt at lunchtime, roaring in.
Great by Holden. Again, considering two, they will come back this time, testing Finch's arm, and then we'll get back.
And he's a lesson, really, to other young players, that just because you are seen as a batter, or you see yourself as a batter, or even the other way around, you see yourself as a bowler, doesn't mean to say you can't improve your second string. And it is so crucial these days to be multifaceted as a cricketer. Gets you into teams.
Oh, this one, kind of a slice drive over cover, timed nicely from Holden, getting a bit forward, a bit wide this time from Singh, and put away nicely.
What I would say at the minute is that I think he's got a bit of pace, but you know, Max Holden's played at a good level, and he would have seen a lot quicker than Ekant Singh. So whilst he's bowling in excess of 80 miles an hour, which is great, it's going to be the consistency that he acquires, and he's only going to get that from playing and getting taken over extra cover a few times.
Yeah, this time using his feet. Again, they'll rush back for two. Dive needed.
That was close. Harry Finch has got a rocket arm, and it was one bounce to Sam Billings. Holden got the dive out, and it might just have saved him.
Oh,
yeah, it did save him. He was home. Needed the dive, though. Good bit of work from Finch. Yeah, so to go back to Ekant, just a lot of plaudits for the way he has worked above all else to make himself a proper all-rounder. And you look what's happened in the championship side. He's got himself in, probably ahead of the likes of Joey Everson, because he's got that second string to his bow. And when you're picking a team, you look for players that can balance the side. Look how Ben Stokes, his absence was felt in that Oval Test match not that long ago. As it can bowl, be one of your frontline four-seamers and bat in the top order, worth their weight in gold.
And that was seen when he was called up to the Lions not too long ago, which I think he said it came as a bit of a surprise. Really trajectory for, I kept saying now, obviously getting his debut in the Blast, going on the up, bit more of a regular now, as you were saying. He's seemingly taking the position right now. He holds it, that batting all-rounder from Everson, and it's looking all on the up for him.
Well, the example I always use is Joe Denley. Joe Denley obviously had a crack back in 2009 as an England cricketer and didn't quite work out for him, but then he got his second opportunity in 2018-19 on a tour to Sri Lanka, and he got picked as a batter who could bowl leg breaks. Moved back in here from the Nackington Road.
And also really consistent performing in both the championship around that time and in the Blast. Denley.
Yeah, he was bowling for Kent in the championship as their main spinner early season, and you can understand that because you don't often pick a frontline spinner in April and early May, so Joe was fulfilling that role. He was bowling a lot of overs, but you only bowl a lot of overs if you're good enough to do a job, and as a spinner, especially a leg spinner, that means you've got to be consistent enough to hold an end and hit an area, and he did that, and off the back of that, multi-dimensional cricketer got picked back in the England team. You have to hurry here. Crawley is quick, but it was just dying on him, and he's a tall man, couldn't quite get down to gather it in cleanly.
Well, something that Denley's always had string to his bow is that you don't see many leggies bowling in the power play and being trusted to, and that shows that the consistency he has, which again not many leg spinners possess, that he could be tight, and in, like say, early season in the county championship, he could bowl those long spells and not give too many loose deliveries away. Mahmood coming back in.
Holden tries to flick it, gets some of it, looked like a bit of a glove. Billings was on his way down the leg side, but the glove took a bit of pace off, and short fine leg was able to get round. Yeah, but a lot of players, and again credit to Joe Denley for recognising how important that leg spin was. A lot of players who have that second string just let it fade away. It's hard work. It doesn't come as naturally as you're batting, and you become that kind of batter that used to bowl a bit but doesn't anymore. We've seen it happen. And you were not as valuable a cricketer. That is struck nicely by Boyle, and he's going to go all the way. So a pull stroke with a straightish bat. He nailed it through straight mid-wicket for 4.
Just a little flourish here from Middlesex. He's nearing the end of the power play. Apparently 43 for 1. Pretty evens at the moment. Of course, could have been 2 down if it wasn't for that overstepping from Mahmood. Content just to take the single out to deep square leg. And one more ball left of Middlesex's power play. Imagine both sides are pretty content right now. Oh, that's crunched. Holden picking up the length quickly and drilling that away. Last ball of the power play races away for 4. And Middlesex finishes 48 for 1.
Yeah, decent power play for Middlesex on this sluggish surface. News from Sophia Gardens is that the Horses, Kent women's side, have lost in the first semi-final of T20 finals day. They've lost by 66 runs. Gloucestershire women 159 for 5. And the Horses finished 93 for 9, so they have run their race. It's been a decent campaign. Good to get to finals day, but that is them done.
I've had the pleasure to watch a few of their games this year and last, and to see the improvement from last year has been really heartening. And obviously today it'll be disappointing for them, but to get there with this young side, they've added a bit of experience to it, which I think has helped. But yes, with this relatively young side, it's been a real great achievement for the horses.
Yeah, and I think the other measure of Kent women's success is the amount of Kent women who are playing in top tier counties all around the country, which shouldn't be overlooked either, because the best will get creamed off.
Now Lintott into the attack from the pavilion end. How do you find Lintott's had in his debut campaign, obviously on loan, the Spitfires?
Well, I think he started really well, and I put that down to, one, he's obviously a decent bowler, but the South group wouldn't have seen too much of him.
Half appeal, very fine that sweep from Holden, and it will just beat Sing away the boundary. Have a 4.
Yeah, it's a risky ploy to not have a 45, particularly with the slope and the pace that Lintott sometimes fires it through with. You've only got to get a little lap and you get 4. So fielding change is happening. Daniel Bell-Drummond is coming to that 45, which means there's a big gap now at mid-wicket. If you knock it in there, it's only going to be 1. Goes for the big slog sweep. So Crawley doing the work. He's got a good arm. Settle for 1.
I'm looking forward to be proven wrong, but it surprises me that Lintott's on at the pavilion end to 2 left-handers going against the slope with his left arm leggies.
Yeah, I hear you. I suppose he's turning it away from that short boundary.
Oh, there you go.
And there you go, and he has bowled him. So that is the end of Matt Boyle, and that's why Sam Billings is captaining Kent, not Cameron Emmanuel Burns. So that's good. You can keep tempting fate like that if you like. Keep questioning the lads and the decisions, and hopefully it'll result in wickets. Maybe you have that power. Middlesex lose their second. They're 54 for 2.
Right. Well, as you say, that's why I'm sat in here. Excellently done. Boyle looking to use his feet. And something that Lintott has done pretty successfully today again, really ragging it in, seeing the batsmen as they're coming down, and then New Zealander goes, and he set a nice platform for himself there, Boyle, but couldn't continue it. That brings in the ex-Tenterden man, I believe, deploy, and he's also skippering the side.
I was just seeing that, how Boyle got completely done there. He made his mind up. He was running at the batter. You know, sometimes you do that, but it was, I wouldn't say it was a drag down. Give Lintott credit and say he saw him coming, just pulled his length back. But you're better advised to just see if you can see the flight first, and the one that's tossed up a little bit, that's probably the one to come down to. You always run the risk, particularly to someone like a Lintott who can spin it both ways, got a little bit of mystery. You leave your crease at your peril. I mean, if it had not hit the stumps, Billings would have whipped the bails off. So a good start from Jake Lintott. Yeah, I think he's had a pretty decent campaign. I made the point when he got whacked by Nottinghamshire, didn't he, in that game on a Friday night, the televised game, that they'd seen a lot more of him than a lot of the teams in the South group.
Oh, deploy straight away. Hammering that ball straight past Lintott. What a nice way to get off the mark. First ball. Crunching that one straight down the ground.
Yeah, he tossed that one up, didn't he? Gave it a little bit of air, tried to tweak it, but it was in the slot and mid-off up. Didn't overhit it. Just nailed it flat, couple of bounces and over the rope.
Wanting to change about in the field. Mid on and off out. Successful over that for Kent. Of the overseas, Boyle back in the dressing room. Middlesex 59 for 2. Interesting to see who will come on now. Nackerton Road End.
Yes, Zakhan Singh, I just saw him get the nod actually, because he was fielding right down in front of us, and Sam Billings just turned round to him and gave him a little signal. He went back with a thumbs up, so I thought it would be Singh. Interesting to see how he operates from the Nackington Road end. Also, I think it will be interesting a bit later today, the quarter-final permutations and who does what when, because what you don't want really is the Wednesday evening home quarter-final. Because that, of course, is when England are playing Argentina in the semi-final of the World Cup, which might do something to your the amount you get in the ground. It's been touched around the corner, and that'll race away. So the line not quite right there for Mekanch, and he goes for 4. And that can be the problem with bowling from these two different ends at Canterbury, with a slope that runs pretty much across the ground, a little bit diagonally from right to left. So maybe just a bit of overcompensation there, not wanting to give too much width, got a bit too straight. Perhaps trying to allow for that slope, and the ploy just tucked him away. Started well here, Middlesex skipper. With getting rid of these two left-handers, we'd like to see Jaden Denley maybe get a little trundle, but he's unlikely to be used while there are two lefties at the crease. And Billings will want the matchups with the ball spinning away from right-handers. All chance here. Ekant Singh is quick, and I think if it had hit, he would have been gone. That was a great bit of work off his own bowling. Bunted into the leg side. The deep mid-wicket fieldsman wasn't going to get it, so they were coming back for 2, but Ekant was after it. But that is a tough ask. You've got to slide. Not quite sure where the stumps are. You're in your follow-through. He changed direction beautifully there.
Looks a good athlete.
Yeah, he does. He's a strong-looking lad. He's put the work in the gym.
Interesting with the inclusion of Denley. Got a number of all-rounders in this side today, beefing up the batting lineup, which is probably what has been lacking the last few games for Kent.
Gone. So beautifully bowled by Ekant Singh, off-pace delivery. And it looked like it turned and jumped a little bit. Deploy thought he had it under control, just looking to turn it round the corner fine, use the pace, but he got it too fine. Bit of a top edge. Billings gratefully receives the gift, and Ekant Singh has his first T20 blast wicket. It won't be his last. Middlesex 67 for 3.
And Will Young serenading Deploy as he walks off. Smart bit of cricket that from Singh, but I guess it reinforces the idea that it's a pretty tired wicket. And that grip into the surface and hold. But very important, he looked good, didn't he, Deploy, from the handful of balls he faced?
Yeah, he's a good batter. Deploy is a good cricketer, captain of Middlesex, and very good all-format player. We just have a little look at this here. Banged it in, but I think it was slower. And it was a little bit of a strangle down the leg side, in truth. You can tell by Deploy's reaction. You can tell by Sam Billings' reaction as well how much he enjoyed that one. So always nice to see a young player get off the mark. But yeah, you're right. We didn't. The pitch on Friday night, same surface. Surrey just ran in and thumped to length all their bowlers. Didn't really go to too many change-ups. It was a quick pitch, and they just hurried the Kent batters, and they were pretty relentless in the lengths they hit. But this pitch looks a bit more tired, and the slower balls and off-pace delivery is certainly working.
And here we go. Will be the youngster debutant, Jaden Denley. As you say, now with the right hand he gets in, he's tossed the ball by Billings.
Yeah, perfect time to get him on, fall of a wicket. Not that batters will take too long knocking you around. You want to put some pressure on Denley. I'm sure they would have seen him on the scorecard, had a brief chat. He's been around for a couple of years now, Jaden. Whether they would have seen too much of him, I'm not sure.
Fired in. And that one does go. That's gone all the way.
It's gone all the way. It was a little bit of a drag down. Maybe just got a sense that Geddes was going to come down the wicket. Might have just fainted to come and then just rocked back. But, yeah, a little bit too short.
Touch fuller. This one's driven. Half stops and they will get through the single. That brings a left-handed Holden on strike.
Yeah, it was a bit of a misfield from Grant Stewart. It was struck firmly at him, but he probably should have done a bit better. And this is what you need sometimes. Young bowler, just need your fielders to back you up. He's now got the left-handed Holden on strike. He whacks this over the rope and he's gone for 2 sixes. Just need the fielders to support you. It's nicely bowled.
Fair to say he's a bit more of a dartier bowler, Denley. And he'll have to chase that off his own bowling.
Yeah, I mean, he's a canny bowler. He's not a huge turner of the ball, but he will mix his pace up. I wouldn't expect to see him give too much air in his first T20 Blast match and try and kind of spin it through people. He'll be more kind of into the pitch and flat and quick.
Bit of work for Crawley. Keep it to 1. That concludes Denley's first over. The Blast, 9 off it. Apart from the one dragged down a pretty tidy over for the Whitstable man.
Yeah, he's an interesting case. We were talking about Ekanch earlier and the way his bowling's really kicked on. I think Jaden certainly, coached him at school from 13 kind of upwards, and he was probably initially more of a bowler than a batter. He's really worked hard at his batting. He's worked hard at all his skills, but his batting has probably overtaken his bowling. Certainly, I think Kent probably see it that way, but he's more than useful left-arm spinner. It's important he keeps that string going.
That one is a drag down.
Well, that is not one that Jake Lintott will want to see again. Just missed the cut strip. So maybe trying to fire out something a bit different. It is a dead rubber after all. It might have been some sort of zooter, flipper. More like it. I've got no idea what a good score on this surface is.
You'd say normally at the Science ground it's been around that 200 mark.
Yeah, I think 200 to be a winning score. Feels like a kind of 165 pitch to me, but that's a bit of a guess from 100 yards away. Gone. That is the end of Holden, beautifully bowled from Lintott. He might have had one that missed the cut strip, but that was a beautifully flighted delivery. Just gripped on him. And Holden trying to strike it down the ground, can only chip it back at him, and he has to go for 24. So Kent Spitfires continue to take wickets. Middlesex 79 for 4.
Yeah, a lovely bit of bowling that from Lintott, picking up his second of the day. No one's more relieved than me to see him get a wicket from the Nacton Road end. Thank goodness. But that's another of the set players come in. No one's looking that fluent out here. In fact, it's probably Deploy, who's only there for a few balls, who looked at the best measure of this. And that 165 looks a bit of a distance away from here.
Joe Cracknell, the new batter, dangerous player.
Nice bit of
Was
grip
deployed
there.
at the top of the order for a while for Middlesex. And like the look of him when he first came into the side, he was playing as a fielder. I think John Simpson back then would have been the keeper, and Cracknell was an opening batter. Since Simpson has moved to Sussex, he's taken the gloves in this format of the game and has dropped down the order a little bit, but he can be pretty destructive. Probably prefers pace on the ball, but dangerous customer.
Another successful one for Lintott. 2 overs, 2 wickets. Signing off this blast campaign. Well, again, I'm not entirely sure. Is he in for the Metro Bank One Day Cup as well? Is it just the blast? I guess we should see. Although
as far as I'm aware, it's just a blast, but I don't know that for a fact. Things can change. Injuries can play a part. But yeah, he's acquitted himself pretty well.
Another man who will be happy with the dismissal of Holden will be, I assume, Jane Denley, having now 2 right-handers to bowl at. Two in a row, straight to Lintott. Nice and quick through these overs. All 2 straight away. Oh, what
Yeah,
a good
it was
arm.
never 2. It was just a Grant Stewart who was running in. He didn't hit it hard enough, Cracknell, to mean that Stewart had to run round it. He could take a direct line to it. There was never 2. Brings Geddes on strike. Ball is 2 again. I'm not sure they're going to get it here either. A nice over this from Jaden Denley. What he also does, he kind of hurries you a little bit. He's quickly back to his mark. Sometimes you want him just to take a bit of time, especially if he's been hit for a boundary. You can rush it a little bit, but when he's on top of you and he's joining some dots up, he's through these overs. This one is half stopped and then kicked by Tom Rogers, but just the single. So perhaps a little bit of grip there for Denley. It's good to see. Bowling over in 2 minutes flat, Jaden Denley.
Aerial, nice looking shot, but almost down deep, covers throat. Grant Stewart, but a tidy and quick over from Jaden Denley. Got that first over out of the way and now into his work.
Yep, 9 from the first, just 4 from the second. So there's a good comeback. Just that one ball that he dragged down. Other than that, he's been nice and tidy. Middlesex wouldn't have seen too much of him. Is always handy for a youngster. Lintott to continue.
Opportunity. Second one that's flashed past Lintott today. Would have been a bit of a screamer going to his right.
Well, caught and bowled in the last over. That one would have been an altogether different catch. It was hit hard at him. I think he really should have possibly done better.
Cracknell going for the sweep. Anything on that? Just a little under edge. Scamper through for the single. Dragged down short, and Geddes picked that one up, and that's all the way into the advertising boards. Thought he would just pick it up as it's bounced off. Have a strong batter.
Well, we get the feeling that Ben Geddes is looking for that drag down. He got one from Jayden Denley, which he climbed into, and this was a carbon copy.
Content with just knocking that for the single this time. Yeah, pretty similar. It's the two spinners rocking back, lifting that over Cow.
Well, if you know you've got the power, then you don't even really worry about where you're placing it. You just hit it over the ropes.
Reach on the full will just be the single. Good over this so far for Middlesex. 10 off. Ball to come. Geddes rocking back into the back foot, but this time intent to hit it along the ground. A single to retain the strike. Middlesex 95 for 4 after 12 overs. You'd say that the run rate's not too bad for Middlesex there. They'll be en route to that 160-ish, maybe a bit of an acceleration, 170. It's just making sure to keep enough wickets in hand for that final overs push.
Yeah, every couple of overs that tick past, though, that wicket's become less of a factor. Nice to see Jayden getting a bit of a spell here. This is his third over in a row, just allowing him. This is good captaincy from Sam Bennings. He's just letting him get into his work. Sometimes T20 cricket, you can have an over here, and you pulled out the attack over at the other end, just letting the youngsters settle.
Nicely placed from Cracknell. Pick up 2.
Yep, over extra cover, but Zach Crawley at long off is very wide, which tends to be the way here because of the slope. Big gap straight back over Jayden Denley's head. Is where he's gone this time, and Crawley's got his work cut out, and he's not going to get there. So, smoked straight by Cracknell. Nice shot that. I mentioned before, he's a destructive customer. And he just had a little look at Jayden Denley in the last over. He might be thinking, okay, and that is the reason why bowlers are chopped and changed in a T20 bowling order, because you don't want to get them lined up. But he's gone. He's cut it straight to Daniel Bell-Drummond at extra cover. And Denley has his first T20 blast wicket. We saw Ekant Singh a few overs back get his first. And Jayden Denley now has his. Cut shot from Joe Cracknell, and he just picked out Daniel Bell-Drummond. Couldn't keep it down. Maybe he was trying to go over him, but having struck the boundary to the ball before, Jayden Denley has his man. Middlesex 102 for 5.
This you feel is what the Kent faithful were really eager to see today, as we know. That rubber, but to see Singh and Denley get off the mark, their first wickets, the Spitfires, the blast, that's, you can see looking around the crowd, warm applause there for his first wicket, and he's bowled nicely.
Yeah, he has bowled nicely. He's now got Big Luke Holman in his sights. This will be an altogether different test, because you've got the left-hander. He's a big striker of a ball. He's also got one of the best reverse sweeps in the game, so he can hit you 360, and he can hit it hard as well. Got 100 in the championship against Kent last season. A good all-format player. Will bowl his leggies as well. To dangerous customers. These batters keep coming, but you're right, Cam, when you said, you know, 4 down, bit of an issue for Middlesex. You now 5 down. You get one of these 2 out. That's close. Big shout. James Treadwell. The umpire says not out. So successful over from Jayden Denley. 8 off it. at the wicket of Joe Cracknell, so that'll make him feel pretty pleased with his day's work. Good to see him getting a run out, good to see him amongst the wickets.
Well, if anyone knows how to bowl better finger spin here at Sir Lawrence Ground, it is the umpire from the pavilion end, James Treadwell. Wonder if he's giving any tips.
Well, I should hope not while he's umpiring.
I once bowled in front of Treadwell and I asked for tips, and he obliged.
Maybe in a club game, I'm not sure in a T20 blast. Jaden says,
he also
so do you think
out.
I should just chuck this one up, Treddy, or should I fire it in his toes? I don't think Treddy can give out those kind of tips.
Oh, quick single taken. Well placed in the end moment. You'd fancy that this pair, if they're going to get to the likes of Gohar, as we saw in the championship game recently, can certainly hold a bat, and even Bosch the South African can smoke a few as well, but going to get up to a really competitive total. This partnership's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. See Tom Rogers back into the attack.
Likes a pull shot, Ben Geddes, doesn't he? I think we've seen that already today with those two big sixes off the spinners, but he's become renowned for it. Back of a length, he just smokes it. So I'm sure Kent are aware of that. Sometimes the strength can be a weakness, but yeah, it just might be better advised to go a touch fuller to him, especially on this surface, which hasn't got a lot of pace. You go back of a length to someone that loves to sit on the back foot and wait for that pull shot, you could be in trouble.
Again, touch around the corner. Mahmood, that fine leg. You've seen a bit more of Holman. Where are the areas where he will look to go big? Like you say, he's a big strapping lad.
Yeah, he can hit you wherever. I mean, he can whack it to the leg side. You give him a bit of width, he'll whack you through the offside. But yeah, it's his play against spin that I remember the most, having seen a bit of him. Good sweeper, good reverse sweeper. Hits it hard. Got a bullet arm as well. Watch out for him in the field.
Very nice classical shot there on the top of the bounce. Straight to mid off, mind you, no run. Oh, there we go. You said it just before, he likes the pull shot. That's the third time we've seen it clear the ropes from Geddes today. Catching up with that really quickly. Rogers going short, a lovely clean stroke. And into the flats.
Yep, it's not the length to bowl to him. I mean, to be fair, he's the last couple of deliveries have been back of a length. That was probably only a foot and a half shorter than those previous deliveries that he punched to extra cover in mid-off. But eventually, if you get that slightly wrong, that kind of hit the length, if you just smack it in a foot too short against someone like a Geddes, and I speak as someone who used to sit on the pull shot a little bit, he's got a lot more power than I had, but it is a shot that you look for if it's a strength, and if you get it, you wallop it over the rope. So that's gone a long way.
Bananas are out. Yep.
I mean, the question surely is why?
I like a banana as much as the next man.
I love a banana, but I don't come to the cricket dressed as one. I would, if it wasn't a stag do, and it didn't have, if it wasn't a particularly lively one, I'm thinking, why come on a hot day to the cricket dressed as a banana? Whose idea was that?
Tell you if we'll invite you back next year, I'm dressing up as a banana. Oh, thank you.
That was very delicately handed back, wasn't it? Didn't trust his arm to ping it all the way back to the middle. Yeah. Go on, throw it, mate. Come on, get the game on. New balls.
Again, hooked away this time. Just be the one.
was quite fortunate that one didn't get the treatment as well. A bit short from Rogers. It's the man who sits on the pull shot. 29 off 17 Geddes, and 18 of those have come from 3 mighty blows over mid-wicket off the back foot. 113 for 5. 6 overs remain. You get 10s. It's a very handy 170 plus, so Kent, yeah, just take another couple of wickets and they can limit this to 150, 160, I would suggest.
Well, with Holman coming to the crease, that has marked the end of Denley's spell. Successful one in the end, but probably not a great surprise. We've been remarking how strong Holman is against the spin. So that brings it left arm of Lintott. He'll be eager to impress if this is indeed his last outing for Kent.
Yeah, just Sam Billings is just adjusting the field here. The backward, or the deep point, is going behind square.
I assume readying for that reverse sweep that you mentioned. Intent just to knock it around for now.
So the man furthest left on your screen there at the bottom, kind of, it's 7, 8 o'clock. That is a man who's in the same position for right and left handers as this one is nailed through cover. So the man running back to the boundary to the left of screen now is a long way behind square for a left-handed batter. That is simply because Luke Holman loves a reverse sweep, so they're blocking that one off. Means he shuffles down the pitch, knocks it into the leg side for a single. So that is where you earn your money as a captain. You know your players. You don't wait for him to hit the ball for 4 with a great reverse sweep. You're proactive, you block it off, his strong areas, before he even gets that shot out.
There's semi-sitting on this over from Lintott, knowing that he's only got one more ball left in this spell. Fancy, will they just see it through, or try and take him down with his last delivery? Fired in. It will be just the single, 6 off his last. He concludes his time 4 overs, 2 for 31 in what you'd say has been a pretty successful campaign for him. 9 wickets. It's been pretty economical. It was really only that game from memory against Notts here, where, as you say, maybe a team that's accustomed to playing him, where he got taken down, but a pretty successful acquisition for this tournament, you'd say?
Yeah, he's done a good job. He's done a good job, and I think he's done a good job today. I think it's sensible batting from Middlesex in the sense that on a tired surface, which is offering a little bit of spin, and he does have some mystery, and if they're not quite sure which way it's going, then why take the risk? They're going to have some seam coming back on. They've got maybe another over of Jaden Denley, who has bowled nicely but doesn't have the same mystery as the wrist spinner, so there are probably more opportunities elsewhere, so they were content just to knock Lintott for 6 singles. But Hassan Mahmood back into the attack. Inside edge down to fine leg. They'll be thinking about 2 here. No one really knew where it went. So the bananas there are turning round to face the camera. They are right next to where we are. We could probably interview them and find out why on earth they've come dressed as they have.
I'm more intrigued by the boy in the whites. Is there?
Yeah, he didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
Big full, straight and gone. So Mahmood has his man. It is pinned in front. saying earlier, talking to Zach Crawley about this lad, and he said he's just got a very quick Yorker. It's an effort ball. He fires it in. We saw Laurie Evans' off stump removed the other night. It's only success against Surrey. And he has hit that length again. Fast, straight. Geddes goes for 32. And Middlesex 120 for 6.
Yeah, exciting bowler. Ken looked to have found a really decent one there. And I guess what has been quite a roller coaster of a season, and especially when it comes to overseas for Ken, injuries and being called up for other franchise tournaments, it's nice to be finishing off with unearthing. I mean, yeah, look at that, it's tailed back in, probably crashing into the base of leg stump. I wonder what the Bananas, did they give it? They're back again. Oh. They're not happy.
What a wonderful name for a T20 cricketer coming in at this stage with less than 4 overs to go. Brother of Corbin Bosch.
Known more for his bowling, but he can give it a whack. I think we're both excited for that, just for the opportunity. Calling that one. Yeah, that was a big wicket for Kent. Geddes was looking, again, probably the most serene on this wicket, picking up those pull shots with ease. But a change of length, nice and full, brought about his demise. Now they have a big hitter, Holman, facing up to the Bangladeshi. Slow ball. Plenty of skills on show from Mahmood. He's got the quick Yorker, bouncer now, also slower ball. What you need is a T20 bowler these days.
For that Yorker again, just overshot the runway, as we say. Just a little bit full. See what he's trying to do. Good on slow surfaces. If you get your Yorker in, it does not matter. The lot out. If you get it right, it's a bit full on that occasion. That 170 odd, looking a long way away all of a sudden. That is the power of Luke Holman. See if he gets a little bit of width, he can bludgeon it through the offside. He's a strong man. And a good over from Hassan Mahmood. Slightly spoilt with that boundary.
Well, the other, well, I guess we would still call him a newbie to this side. Akap Singh, trusted in these death overs now coming up from the pavilion end, replacing Lintop. Quick single taken to Mahmood. It's good this. Billings testing out the youngster in all phases. He bowled in the power play, bowled one outside, and now coming back when the batters are looking to accelerate, really testing him out, seeing what he can do. Exactly how today's game should be being played.
Just seen a couple go past with ice creams. Cam, just warming up here a touch, isn't it? I feel like it could be an ice cream afternoon.
And considered two, but only the one taken in the end. Yes, absolutely. Most of the games that we've covered have been, especially during the day, scorchers here this summer, and yet to receive an ice cream coming around the boundary to us. Who knows, maybe today will be the day.
I was thinking of going and getting a couple in the interval, mate, to be honest.
Ooh. Beaten. Norman looking to kind of give himself some room there.
Yeah, it's nicely bowled for Mekans. It was quite a tight line. He's got backward point and short third man in the ring, so you could see what Holman was thinking, almost trying to let it come past him, knock it on its head. But clever bit of bowling. Worked up ahead of steam, but he's mixed his pace up.
And full, dug out by Holman, just a single. And yeah, we've seen his change of pace, how he got deployed. Snowball bouncer earlier on in the piece. Another three though. That's 3 ice creams have passed us here. Change of pace, excellently bowled.
Yep, that was the slow ball bouncer again. Excellent from Mekans Singh, decent over. So he's completed his third one for 21. It's a pretty decent economy rate for a man whose strongest suit, you'd say, is still very much his batting. But he is developing at a rate, and credit to him.
Will be the experience of Stewart now coming up the Neckerton Road end. Also with his change-ups.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how Grant goes, because he had a cracking match, didn't he? Was it Hampshire a few games ago, fourth career best. It wasn't so good the other night, so Wander is doing some great work on the top side of the ground, keeping the runs down, preventing batters coming back for a second.
Sprinted in from Denley, making sure it's only one. Look at, it's a pretty young athletic side, this Kent outfit. Cutting down a lot of these potential twos. Well, we've been waiting for it. And there is the power on show from Holman. Smiting that fuller delivery from Grant Stewart straight back down the ground. Was a man out on long on boundary, but it sailed over his head. That's Holman's first 6 of the day.
Yeah, made a nice sound off the bat, didn't it? You're going to bowl those slower deliveries. Sometimes the full length, all right if you get them in the block hole, but if you get them in the slot and they're too slow, batters have time just to wait for them, and then it becomes like a gentle throwdown.
Again, but this time not connecting with it, not reaching Jaden Denley out here at long off. So on the bounce. Yeah, Middlesex still on track for that 160, 170 mark. On this wicket, I fancy it's still pretty competitive.
Yeah, I guess T20 cricket, it only takes one of Kent's top order to have a day out, and they can make light work of it. I think you're right. It feels like a decent total. You just wonder whether, with not much on the game, Kent might be freed up to go and give it a whack. It's going to be too short a field.
Yeah. Well, that's, from a personal standpoint, what I'm hoping to see, because there's not many other sides in this tournament I really have the talent that, especially that Kent top 4, have on paper. Haven't really seen it all come together, apart from perhaps Billings, who's had one of his best seasons, I would say. Hasn't really been that well supported from the other ones this season. So today it'll be interesting to see. Like I say, pressure off. Get some entertainment here for this pretty decent crowd, to be fair. Bosh. Yes. Oh. He gets that one away.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
He gets it away. It does go 4 back straight down the ground. Maybe not totally middle, but enough.
Enough of a Bosh.
Enough Bosh.
Yeah, no, he's struck it pretty well. Grant Stewart here, not quite getting it right. Going for the block hole. All bung up. Good shot, nailed straight. 2 men back. Bisected them.
Slow ball. All the way just for 1. Yep, safest place to hit normally, straight back past the bowler.
Yeah, you need the length, don't you? You need it either in the slot or a full toss like that that's low. You can just drill it down the ground. He then followed that up with another slower ball. That was really short. And I think he got away with that. Ethan Bosh looked quite cross. He wasn't able to deposit that over the rope. Brings Holman back on strike. Stewart is 24 from 11 balls so far.
Turned around the corner. And that
It's
will
been
go.
wallop square, isn't it? It's a great shot.
This is the over that Middlesex were after. It brings up their 150. Momentum going into the last 2.
Get 150 up. Holman doing what he does, adding a little bit of power down the order. So important in T20 cricket. A lot of people make hay at the top in the power play, but the ones that really earn their money, think of the likes of Tim David, guys that can, Henrik Klassen, that can take the 4s and 6s late in an innings. So Grant Stewart, expensive, 28 off his 2 overs. Hassan Mahmood, change of ends. Yeah, we'll keep that down to a single. So this the important matchup. Holman. Mahmood probably try and squeeze that Yorker in. Holman won't be holding back with just 11 balls of this Middlesex innings remaining.
As you mentioned previous over, it feels like Mahmood hit the right marks on this wicket, either crushing on the toes or the back of the length. Slow wicket when you do get it on length where the batters can push forward and drive through their hands, hit nice and straight. It's not seemed too bad. Again, nice and full. Can't get underneath it, Bosh. Just the 1.
We'll keep you across the other games going on at the moment. A little bit later, maybe the second half of this game. See if we can work out who's going to play who in the quarterfinals. Who's got the home quarterfinals? Change of pace from Mahmood. He's well swatted away from Holman one-handed. He'll get a couple as Crawley runs round from a wide long on. Surrey did overtake Hampshire. Hampshire losing at Chelmsford. Surrey comprehensively winning here. And that meant they went to top spot in the South Group. So home quarter-final beckons for them. So we'll keep you across their respective games. Remember, the horses went down in the final semi-final. Finals day at Cardiff. They lost to Gloucestershire Women by 66 runs. That is a little streaky, a little fortunate. On-pace delivery from Mahmood, and Holman. He's tried to ease it in that kind of direction, but a bit of a thick edge, and it raced away for 4. So this is a really useful knock from the leg spinning all-rounder. He gave himself a bit of width and wristily got it between those two men. Slightly fortuitous, but kind of meant it in that direction, so we give him a bit of credit.
It's been a super knock from Holman. Precisely what his team needed.
Good comeback from Hassan Mahmood. So he completes his set of 4-2 for 33. Another decent performance from the young Bangladeshi. Kent fans won't mind if they get used to the sight of him in Kent colours. So decent crowd in for this final group match for both these sides in the 2026 Blast campaign. It's a dead rubber, but there's pride to play for. Tom Rogers is going to finish things off.
Oh, it can't be brought back in. Great effort out there at deep cover. Bosch has boshed it. Slow ball this time from Rogers. Waited for it nicely. Yeah, and smited over the head. Great power.
Yeah, that one was more of a Bosch than the other one. You went early with your first Bosch, and you used it up a bit.
I did.
I mean, I admire the fact you went again.
Yeah.
But that was properly wallop, wasn't it? It made a great sound off the bat. It was a slower ball that you saw all the way.
I'm going Fuller. Just the one. Brings the destructive left-hander Holman back onto strike with 4 balls left of this innings. 5 more to reach that 170 mark, which we noted earlier we feel will be a competitive total. Especially from where they were after around 10 overs. They've done well here, Middlesex.
I think it also shows you how well Surrey bowled the other night. Bowled Ken out for 102 on a pitch which was fresher and better.
Gone slower again. This time, Biaye's round to it quickly, keeping that to 1. Great arm in.
Yeah, perfect throw from Biaye. Good decision not to come back for 2. That was right over the bails.
Oh, well bowled. It's excellent from the Aussie overseas. Perfect Yorker. Going through to the skipper Billings. Not a lot Ethan Bosch can do with that one. Once more, this is excellent work from Tom Rogers, trying to finish off his Blast campaign in style with the ball. Might be needed later. He can give it a mighty heave. with the bat as well. We haven't seen that too much this season. Last ball coming up to Ethan Bosch. Middlesex 166 for 6. Can they get up to that 170 mark? Oh. Chance. Is it? No, it's cleared. Finch there at long on. And they will conclude the innings with a 6. And that has been Boshed.
Oh dear, Cam. So 172 for 6, Middlesex finish. It feels like a roundabout par. Kent performed pretty well with the ball. Good to see the likes of Ekant Singh and Jaden Denley getting a good run out with the ball. But a couple of contributions of note with the bat for Middlesex. Ben Geddes 32 off 21, 3 lustily pulled deliveries over mid-wicket, and then Luke Holman with 34 off 22. Ethan Bosch adding a quick fire 23 off 13 right at the end. So 172 for 6 Middlesex posted. We'll just have a little check of the bowling figures here. I'll run through them in just a second. My computer plays ball. Tom Rogers ending up with 4 overs and no wicket for 33. Hassan Mahmood 2 for 33. Grant Stewart expensive 2 overs, no wicket for 28. Ekant Singh impressed once again, 3 overs, 1 for 21. The exact same figures as Jaden Denley. So the new boys, 3 overs, 1 for 21. And Jake Lintott, a couple of useful wickets, 2 for 31 from him. So final game in the South Group for these two sides, the 2026 campaign coming to a slightly flat end, but Kent will want to sign off in style, and to do that they've got to chase down this target of 173. We'll be back with you in about 10 minutes or so for the run chase. In the meantime, we'll try and beat that queue at the ice cream van. So welcome back to live stream coverage of the final group game of the 2026 campaign. Middlesex against the Kent Spitfires. Middlesex posting 172 for 6. Spitfires run chase just about to start. Familiar opening pairing of Tawanda Mayeye and Daniel Bell-Drummond. Looking to right the wrongs of Friday night when they were thoroughly outplayed by Surrey. Trying to sign off with a win ahead of the Royal London One Day Cup campaign. One Day Cup campaign, I should say.
Face off against Safgahar, who's very canny. Left arm offie, who's been pretty successful actually. And they've had a few wins, Middlesex, in the last few games, and only 3 wins in the whole comp, and they've beaten some handy sides in Hampshire and Essex, and both off the back of Safgahar in the power play, keeping it very tight. So a challenge for the 2 right-handers. But good to see them back together, this partnership, so crucial for Kent. When they play well, it's often a good start from this pair. From the off, bit of grip. Gohar. Yeah, just ending at it. Oh, great bit of fielding there. Backward square, allowing to get off the mark with a 2. They shouldn't look like there'd be any there. I think we're set up for a good chase here. 170 on their day. Kent should be able to chase us down, but handy total on this one. Will race away. Played nicely. Waited for it. Square drive, the back foot from the A8. That races away for 4. Lovely looking shot. And Kent's boundary tally is off and running.
Yeah, high class from Tawanda A8. Just back of a length. He didn't try and overhit it, just opened the face and timed it. Picked that gap beautifully.
Sweep, nice, found the gap again, and that will race away for 4. Not sure if it's Ethan Bosch once more has kind of dived in vain. It's had a bit of a tricky start, but yeah, nicely timed, found the gap.
Beautiful batting, really nice batting, because that wasn't a premeditated sweep, it was middle and leg. He got the length and then just decided on the sweep shot, and again didn't try and overhit, just found the gap.
He went for it once more. This time not connecting, but 10 off the first. Good start this from the AA in Kent. Bit of a nerve settler after Friday night to get off to a nice steady start. Hasn't looked to overhit any of those and has come away with 10 runs off the first over.
What a striking kit, isn't it, the Middlesex kit? I mean, I know they play in pink, but that is a very pink kit. There's kind of a slight stripe, bluish stripe on the front of their shirts, but very distinctive. We see a lot of teams in green and blue, different shades, but this is all their own. I don't think anyone else plays in pink.
1-1.
Bertrand just dropping it down to third man. Favourite area for him. Now for Sharma, new bowler from the Nackington Road end.
Another exciting young bowler. Did well for against us championship, and he's had a good start to his blast career. Just 4 matches and 6 wickets, but Middlesex see a lot of talent in him. So too England. And
respectfully played back up the pitch by Mieye. It'd be interesting to see how Kent go about their work here. I think they would have got a bit of a rocket after Friday night. Sam Billings not happy. I don't know that, that's just a guess, but sometimes you feel that you can sense that when words have been had, and they'll know that they were well below par. It was a big crowd, best crowd that Kent have had in all season, and they just didn't really turn up. So they'll be keen to make amends. He has drop kicked that one bounce, 2 bounces, and over the rope. Another boundary to the hugely talented right-hander. And we talk about the campaign that Kent have had. They were missing Tawanda Mieye for 4 or 5 games, might have been even more than that. Concussion that he sustained going for a catch at deep square leg, really smashed his face into the pitch and didn't pull up particularly well. Concussion protocols. He just kept feeling dizzy and sick, and he was out for a lot longer than we initially thought, and Kent missed him. That is the toe of the bat. I think it's just going to be safe. So Bosch again finds himself in the action. Yeah, Tawanda tried to pump that one straight for 6. He got it really low on the bat. Got enough of it.
I feel that no one's missed him more so than his opening partner, Bell Drummond. Did you have someone that you particularly loved to bat with?
Well, in 4-day cricket, I opened the bat with Rob Key a lot, so that was a lot of fun. We knew each other's games inside out, but I think things like that, the running between the wickets, you know, when you open the batting with someone for a period of time, you don't even really need a call. It's just a look and a drop, and you can kind of read each other's body language, and you just take off. Nice single there. And Bill Drummond knows as well when Mieye is in this kind of mood and he gets off to a bit of a flyer, he kind of parks the ego, doesn't try and match him. He's just kind of like, we'll just get him on strike. If he's going great, unleash him. 2 men back on the leg side. The attempted pull shot is missed. And the dot ball to finish the over. Decent one for Sharma, just 7 off it. Nice shot over mid-wicket by Mieye for the boundary. But he came back well, the young fast bowler. So Kent 17 without loss after 2. Good crowd in, considering there's not much to play for. A beautiful day for watching cricket. Sunday afternoon, very traditional, different kind of crowd to the crowd you get in on a Friday night. No less knowledgeable, slightly quieter, but they love their cricket in these parts, and Kent will want to finish with a decent showing. So Tom Helm, the new bowler, 7 on his back. Watch out for his slower ball, it's one of the better ones in the game.
We saw how effective the slow balls were when Kent was bowling. You fancy Helm quite enjoy bowling on this wicket. Yes, they know how much Mieye likes up onto that back foot and pulling. The 2 men on protecting out there on the leg side. Touch off the back foot. Nice bit of fielding. Short third. There is that slow ball. It's out the back of the hand.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's out the back of the hand, as you say. They would have played against Tom Helm Well, Daniel Bell-Drummond would have played against Tom Helm for the best part of 10 years to under BA. Not quite that long. But his slower ball, the kind of things you talk about in team meetings. Batting group often gets together and, you know, what does this guy do? What does this guy do? They won't know much about Navya Sharma. Maybe someone like Jaden Denley can offer a bit on someone like him. But Tom Helm, they'll know very well. And it will be watch out for that. And set yourself a bit for that delivery, specifically, especially late on.
That'll go. Very fine pull shot this time from club captain Bell-Drummond. First 4 of the day, and using the pace this time that was on the ball from Helm. Was that a little bit of an under edge? I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, it wasn't middled. It was a bit of a shovel, actually, because he came down the wicket. Sometimes when you come down the wicket at a bowler, they will see you coming, and that's when they pull their length back. And Bell-Drummond sometimes counts on that, so he can then get the pull shot. Bit of a shovely one. He'll take the bottom edge 4.
Good bit of fielding there. Zafar Gohard. I did wonder. They brought up the protection up from deep backward point. Which is normally Bell-Drummond's go-to area. He tried to dab it down and almost passed. The diving Gohard, who stretched out a hand and stopped it, saving 3 runs for his side. After 3 overs of the power play, Kent said 24 for none.
Nice view from up there. There's Ames hospitality boxes. Chance gone, I think. Yes, brilliant bit of work. Cracknell, I think, the wicket keeper. Mieye came a long way down, and that is a brilliant bit of fielding from the keeper. Glove off, picked it up, and he did have 3 stumps to aim at, and he could probably land it on the pitch itself, but it is a big wicket. Take another look at it now. Sharma from the Nackington Road in good pace. Bell-Drummond kind of chops it on, doesn't quite know where it's gone, and you see he's not looking. Mieye has to turn and go, and yeah, uses the pitch. Okay, there's not too much bounce in it because it just hit the top of middle, and that's a real shame because Tawanda Mieye looked very much in the mood today.
Sums up what has been a really difficult blast campaign for Mieye. So much talent, as we've just seen in that short innings, but curtailed by unfortunate circumstances. But it brings out Mr. Zach Crawley, who is another one who has had a mixed season. Just the 150, a glorious 75 not out here. Even a chasing win against Sussex, but other than that, not too much home to write home about. But he looked the most accomplished on Friday night, which maybe not saying too much, but
he played nicely, didn't he, Friday night? Got a quick fire 31. Kent needed a bit more than that, but as it turned out. But great bit of work that from Cracknell. And that is Daniel Bell-Drummond. I never quite understand why teams have their 3rd man up to Daniel Bell-Drummond. He is the best in the business at just being able to angle it away through that area. And we said about how these teams know each other. They must have discussed this. Bell-Drummond, you know, a lot of people punch that through square cover. Bell-Drummond just goes, no, I can just open the face and let it run off, use the pace that Sharma has, and he does have a bit of pace, the youngster. Any kind of width, he can get it down there, and that is a quite inviting gap between a short 3rd man and a backward point. It's a better line with those fielders up on the offside. The reason I don't like it is because you can get a ball, if you get a back of a length delivery, even if it's straight, even if it's like over middle stump, you can still just use your body and use your hands to glide a ball that's pretty straight if it's back of a length through 3rd man.
And now the man is out for Crawley.
Yep, third man has gone back for Crawley. Well, can you got a third man? He's got that kind of backward point. Got a kind of short third man in the ring that you can see top left of your screen, and then if the camera pans round to the left, you'll see the man back on the deep point fence. So thank you to our director and our cameraman. So he is back in front of the Cowdrey stand, which is just to the left of the floodlight of 11 o'clock. There. And Crawley and Beldrummond, very different players. So Beldrummond will use the pace and glide the ball around and use those wrists. Crawley will kind of come at you more, probably pepper mid-on, mid-off, extra cover more than a Beldrummond. Good on the pull stroke. But he's less likely, and he can get it down to third man, of course he can, but he's less likely to angle your best ball away for 4 down there. So in 4 overs, Spitfires 30 for 1. It's about what Middlesex were. It's going very much in the balance as we once again see the view from the hospitality boxes. That isn't Harry Podmore, but he's obviously a Harry Podmore fan.
Helm to continue from the pavilion end. Crawley facing off for the first time against him. It's a very, very different pair. Crawley and Beldrummond. It just chipped up in the air.
There was that famous Tom Helm slower ball, completely did for Zach Crawley, and that's when you need that little bit of luck. Just trying to turn it into the leg side, bit of a leading edge, and it just lobbed back over the bowler. On another day, you chip that straight back to him. So a little bit of good fortune, which has been in short supply this season for Zach Crawley. Hasn't had a lot of luck. Got a little bit there.
Good 2 deliveries this from Helm, and pressure building on Crawley here. 1 from 5. Little change in the field, both men out now on the leg side. Imagine this will be straight from Helm, looking to tuck Crawley up. And there's rotating the strike. Beldrummond, and will they now place someone out? It's third man region. Doesn't look like it. What they've done is brought this backward point even further around, directly in front of us here, and a very fine short third man. Get up. Beldrummond in the midriff. New dots building here. Again. Looking to hit a boundary to finish off this over. Fancy something will happen in these last 2 balls here. And it does. Beldrummond's got a hold of that one. He has smoked it. That is flat, and that is 6.
That is not Tom Helm's best piece of bowling. He's got those 2 men back on the leg side, so he knows he's got to be straight. This is sometimes the problem with this field. I don't mind it as a whole, but generally not from this end. But as a batter, you know he's got to be straight, and he's likely to hit the deck because he's a tall man. And if you're Beldrummond, you just get inside it slightly and help it on its way. It's a fine stroke.
Goes back to the trusty slower ball. It will just be the one. Relief for that maximum. I mean that the over went for 8 in the end. Still Kent will be looking to utilise the last over of the power play. 38 for 1 so far. Looking for a good finish. Don't see this too often. Looks like Sharma, yeah, will continue. Which means he will bowl all 3 overs from the Nacton Road end during the power play. Bowled nicely so far, 2 overs for 15.
Just looking at the other games going on in this group, Surrey and Hampshire having that tussle for top spot. Hampshire have a target of 187 to beat the Sharks at Hove. They're 32 for 1. But curiously, because we knew there was going to be one later game, a couple of later games, but Surrey are playing at 6:30. Now, I think that's a big advantage for Surrey, because if Hampshire were to win that, they're on the same number of points as Hampshire, Surrey, Hampshire. Know what they need to do from a net run rate perspective, which I think is advantageous. A lovely looking shot from Daniel Bell-Drummond. That is the very best of him. We know he's got those deflections, but we've seen him pop one over long leg for 6, and he has driven that one down the ground. Middlesex, a team he loves playing against. Double 100 at Lords last year. He's got 100 in T20 cricket as well. Loves playing against them.
Bell-Drummond showing there's still space. The classical shots in the shorter format of the game. That's gloriously driven straight back past the bowler.
Well bowled and well played. Cracking Yorker. And Bell-Drummond just dropped the bat on it. Didn't fall over it. Didn't make it look too dramatic. Just that's the way to play the Yorker.
As Mr. Statsman, what is the net run rate difference between Surrey and Hampshire at the moment? Because as you say, that is a big favour for Surrey going later, knowing what they'll have to chase down. Slow ball, well fielded there. Good point, no run.
So Surrey and Hampshire played 11-1-7, lost 4, which is the reverse of Kent, who've won 4, lost 7. So they got 28 points apiece. 0.885 Surrey, Hampshire 0.285. So it might be a case of just win the game will be good enough for Surrey, because Hampshire got a pretty hefty target down at Hove. So if they win, they won't win it, you wouldn't have thought, in such a way that would make a big dent in that net run rate. And that is 4 more to Daniel Bell-Drummond. And it goes down to 3rd man, so far be it from me to tell Luce Deploy where to put his fielders, because you can't have them everywhere, but I would suggest one on the boundary. One of the 2 you're allowed, that might be the spot, because he just will get it through there all day.
Can you imagine that's not what he's asking his bowler to bowl? He's got the 2 men out on the leg side.
But he's a young bowler, and it's not, you know, bowlers can't just run up and land it exactly where they want to every time. I think he's bowled pretty well, this youngster. Got a bit of pace, he's hit a good area, but you miss by a foot and Bell-Drummond will punish you. That's probably where he wants him to bowl, and then all he can do is really turn it into the leg side for a single. Power play done, 47 for 1. I think Middlesex were 48 for 1 at the end of the power play, so we're pretty much neck and neck in terms of this run chase. Spitfires started to take wickets around about now.
Yeah, Hampshire have hit a bit of a roadblock in there. When they came here, they'd only lost 1 game, and they were quite far out ahead at the #1 spot, and then they lost to here, and then they lost against Sussex.
Yeah, they've lost 3 from 4. We had those bizarre back-to-back games, didn't we? They lost here, they beat us in the return fixture, and then they've lost their last couple, so they've gone from topping the group comfortably. Surrey have won 4 on the spin, and could just pip them to top spot.
South African overseas, Ethan Bosch into the attack. Nudged into the leg side. Bell-Drummond.
Daniel Bell-Drummond will be hoping that he can make the most of this start. 30 off 19. A really decent platform for him to kick on. He's lost his opening partner. Zach Crawley will get going in time, I'm sure. See him 2 off 6 too often, but Bell-Drummond's going at a decent lick.
That nice looking drive that brings up the Kent 50. As you say, pretty similar run rate to Middlesex were at this point. They're pretty even. It was around here where Middlesex lost a few wickets at the hands of the likes of Jake Linton and Akansh Singh. Dug in, hit powerfully in front of square. This pull shot, that's lovely from Crawley. Not many better in the business of getting hold of a short, quick one. And that's his first boundary of the day. Lovely shot.
Just a lack of discipline, is it, for the Middlesex bowlers? You just don't bowl short to Zach Crawley. He will just crunch you through there all day long. He's pulled the quickest in world cricket. Struggling a little bit, and he has been this season. It's been the fuller one or the Bale height delivery. You whack it in. He loves it. So get a single on this occasion. It's a better length. I mean, he's good on the drive. You can find that in between length. What you also know with Zach is if you can just tie him down, and they were in the process of doing that, just a couple of dots and a couple of singles, another couple of dots, and all of a sudden he'll try and break the shackles and maybe go for something that's not there. But Bosch dropping it halfway down just enables him to play the right shot to the right ball and get 4.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We have seen that a few times this season with Zach. He'll hit lovely stroke away for 4 or 6. And then a few dots, pressure builds, and a looser shot comes afterwards. So they relieved the pressure there, did Bosch, that short ball.
Nice to see EastEnders' Steve Mitchell pop into the cricket.
One of the Mitchell brothers.
Good crowd in. Lovely day for cricket. Mid to high 20s. A little bit of a gentle breeze. Beers flowing. Sunday afternoon. Probably having watched, there's a few England shirts there. Look, probably having watched the football last night. Everyone in a good mood.
Left arm tweaker, Zafagoa back into the attack. Pick up a comfortable 2.
Evidence there of why you hit the sweepers hard. Lovely kind of clip, back foot, half pull, half clip into the leg side, but he picked his gap. But because he hit it hard, Max Holden, who was doing the fielding, he was a good fielder, he had to run sideways, couldn't run in and attack it.
Peel from the bowler. Too much going for it. Dragged down, hit flat, and taken.
Oh my goodness me. That is a horrible dismissal, and you can't, well, you can blame Zach Crawley for it, of course you can. It's not where he wanted to hit it. But you can't give the bowler too much credit. I mean, that was a drag down. We said earlier when Ben Geddes pulled one from Jaden Denley into the crowd at mid-wicket, it was a little bit of a drag down. Jaden's was a little bit of a drag down. That was a real drag down. And if anything, that kind of helped him, because it meant that Zach Crawley couldn't really get underneath it because it was dropping again. Look where this bounced. It was so short. And it just was bale height. And he neither hit it. I mean, if he'd have got underneath it, he would have hit it in the flats. It was almost like he didn't know whether to keep it down or hit it high. And he did something in the middle and picked out Max Holden.
A Crawley form dispatches that into the flats. Like you say, it seemed in between two minds there of what to do with that. Pretty ugly way to finish his campaign, but that does bring out Captain Billings, who has been the real shining light in this Kent batting lineup this season. Has been superb. He started it off against this opposition with a mighty fine 80 odd not out, and now we're hoping to replicate something similar to conclude the campaign.
In the absence of Joe Denley, Kent's two most experienced men at the crease.
A lovely start from Gohar. In past the outside edge, quick hands. Cracknell, yeah, looking for a platform set by a partnership between these two now. But again, yes, you have Finch after this, who is more experienced than the pose coming after, and likes to sing, and obviously debutant Denley. But you really do feel these two have to take this one deep.
I think there's an argument here for getting Jaden Denley in next. I mean, you're trying to... I know I'm a bit biased, one-eyed, because I'm a Whitstable coach and he's a Whitstable player, but if you're going to play a youngster, and I think Sam Billings did it really well with the ball, he gave him 3, gave Ekhan Singh 3. We now want to find out with these youngsters how they go. You know, Harry Finch is a good player. He's been around for a while, but you kind of know what you're going to get from Harry Finch. You don't quite know what you're going to get from Ekhan Singh or Jaden Denley, and it could be something pretty special. Denley's left-handed. You've got the likes of Holman coming in here, bowling his leg breaks. You've got Zafar Gohar bowling his left arm spin. So you suddenly put the left-handed Denley in there. It just puts the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit. It gives him an opportunity. You know, if I was Adam Hollyoake, I'd be saying, have a license, mate. Go and play your shots. Go and express yourself. Take them on. You know, don't go reckless. Just see what you can do. Go and light up the crowd. And he's got the ability to do that. But if you get in kind of now, with 9, 10 overs to go, 12 overs at the moment, got an opportunity to play an innings.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Regardless of the fact that this match is really about trying to showcase some of the talent of these youngsters, the matchups suggest that a left hand is something we have not had a lot of. The batting department for Kent this year in the lineup. Denley in the side makes sense against, I'd argue, the two most successful bowlers of Middlesex this year, which have been Holman and Gohar. Why not, if the situation arises? Get the youngster up there. Yes, in this latest batch, this little chunk of blast games, and the 2 wins that Middlesex have got against Hampshire and Essex, it has been their bowling which has guided them towards success, and it has been this pair. Almond with four wickets, 21 against Essex, and 1 for 14 against Hampshire, so good form. Billings using his feet early in his innings, something we've become accustomed to see. All a bit quiet, but subdued here in the crowd following that dismissal of Crawley. That one scoots through. Good tidy over. It's 5 from it. Kent 63 for 2. And it feels like they're just trying to ease their way into this partnership. But this run rate is now up to 10.
Yep, 10 and over. And Spinners bowling nicely. Just that's the way forwards. If I was Middlesex, I think pace off. Looks like a harder game on a pitch which has been used and has had hot sun on it. Just beginning to grip a little bit. Not quite coming on, so no surprise. 2 right-handers at the crease. Gohar continues. Former Gloucestershire man, of course. Big reverse sweep from Sam Billings. He has nailed that. He has nailed that. He is one of the best in the business at that shot. That is like a switch hit. He's hit that in front of square for 6. It's like bowling at a left-hander, and this was a real feature of that knock at Lord's when he took Gohar down. 84 unbeaten off 37 deliveries. He just kept doing that to Zafar Gohar. And you can't have them all out there. He talked about the left-handed option of Jaden Denley. When Billings is in this kind of form, it's like having a left-hander out there against the spin. So strong is he on that shot. Don't be surprised to see him go again here.
Well called, sir.
Yeah. He backs himself with that particular field. It's almost like he's as strong going that way against the left arm spin as he is the conventional slog sweep.
I have to say, what's been a tough season for Kent, not living up to their expectations. Watching Billings has been a real joy this year. Really find a bit of form which maybe hasn't quite been there the last couple of years. He promoted himself to 4 and has stood up and more, sometimes single-handedly getting Kent over the line.
So change of field, man going out at deep extra cover for that reverse hit, which would obviously be like a deep cow corner, so I don't expect him to go a 3rd time. Drives, so this is a better field. I'm trying to see who else has moved or come up. So the field is, yeah, mid-on has come up. So might not be too surprised if he shuffles down and looks to pick it up over Matt Boyle, who's inside the circle at mid-on.
You fancy that's where he was intending, but speared in and Gohar.
Yeah, it's one of those as a batter, when you've moved a fielder and you brought mid-on inside the circle, the bowler knows that that's where you're going to be thinking. So a bit of double bluff, you don't necessarily go there first ball. Obviously, if you get the ball in the slot, you do, but Gohar's too canny for that. There's a touch of Daniel Bell-Drummond. He's been off strike for a bit, but got that one. Talked about him dabbing the ball down to 3rd man. How many runs, how many boundaries has he got behind square? This one just a little tickle down the leg side, just flick it away. A bit of an inside edge, but Cracknell can't stop it. And fine leg, 45 is too wide. It runs away down the hill. Another boundary, 37 off 25 now. Daniel Bell-Drummond. And this will take some catching as well. It gets on those wickets. Will just be reeled in.
Oh, that's the over Kent needed. Put impetus into this innings, 17 off it. Halfway through they are 80 for 2. Not a bad position to be in with 8 wickets in hand.
No, advantage Kent at the moment because of a couple of decent overs. Well, that one in particular. scatter blast, possibly the last scatter blast of the 26 campaign. So all t-shirts left, probably being lobbed in the crowd. T-shirt weather. Not sure you get the sizing right all the time. So Billings 15 off 10, Bill Drummond 39 off 26. Finch, Ekant Singh, Jaden Denley, Grant Stewart, still plenty of batting to come.
And that's all the way from the skipper. Lovely use of the feet, flow of the hands, and that goes all the way over Longon's head. Another maximum for Billings.
Yeah, high class from Billings, because the shot you'd be expecting as the spinner, or the one you're guarding against, is that reverse. Because the reverse is obviously going down the slope, and he's just keeping the bowler guessing. I expect reverse. Yeah, it could be a reverse coming now, I'd imagine. He just doinked him back over his head. Hit the 6, he just bunts it into the leg side.
Good stuff. Drummond content just to nurdle it around, get Billings back on strike. You know how dangerous he is against the spin. Had to scamper through there. Using his feet once more, and Holman saw him and really zipped it in.
Yeah, pulled his length back. Sometimes they're the ones that turn as well when you really fizz them into the deck. The outside edge, but gets away with it. Good comeback from Holman this. After the 6, 3 singles and a dot.
Maybe 2. No. With the single. 10 off this. 0 from Holman. Spitfires are 90 for 2.
Unsurprisingly, Zafar being replaced. So well does Billings play the left arm spinner, but he has been withdrawn. And we're going to see a bit more of Ethan Bosch, whose first over went for 8. Maybe you just hold Zafar back for one of the youngsters, see how they go against spin. They actually both play spin pretty well, Ethan, Ekant Singh and Jaden Denley, but Middlesex might feel that's a better matchup rather than Billings with all his tricks. Bill Drummond didn't know much about that one. That hit the bat pretty hard, trying to pull it away. Splice to mid-on.
Fancy Paul Drummond wouldn't be upset with the change of bowling. The pace back in. They've kept the third man for Billings. For me, normally the scoop or the area he'll look for.
Yeah, nicely bowled. Yeah, I don't know how often he would have seen Ethan Bosch. I know he's thinking against Sonny Baker, who could let a decent clip. Those 2 little scoopy flicks he played over 45 on the leg side with the slope and Baker running everything in. His calculation was he's going to go full and straight and I can get across and use the pace and flick it that way, but he hasn't seen much of Bosch. was not Max Holden's best bit of work. I think he was late picking it up. We saw on Friday night someone down in this corner late picking one up, and Holden just didn't move. Daniel Bell-Drummond pulled that one uppishly in his direction. But here, it looked like a good shot, but Holden ambled in and then thought, oh, I've got another chance of catching this. I don't think he saw it early enough. Delicately played down to his favourite area. Daniel Bell-Drummond misfield, doesn't know where it is. And they'll get back for a comfortable 2. Hampshire 70 for 5 in pursuit of 187 to beat the Sharks, bottom of the table. Sussex Sharks, but they might finish with a win. Bell-Drummond doesn't time that one too long on. So Hampshire look like, barring a miracle, they are going to lose 3 on the spin and 4 from their last 5. That is not the way you want to go into the knockout phase of the competition, and what it'll mean is that Surrey will just have to avoid the heaviest of defeats against Essex, and they will top the group and get the home quarter-final. When that'll be, of course, we'll have to wait and see, because England playing Argentina at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, so they want to avoid that slot. This partnership, 42 off 27, has been going at a good clip. Sam Billings doing what he's done most of this campaign. Not every game, he can't do it every game, but he's been in excellent form. He just injects a little bit of impetus, a little bit of intensity. Just tends to up the rate. Always felt when he started, Sam Billings, early on in his T20 career, he tended to go at a run a ball for the first 11, 12 balls and then look to accelerate. Now he comes in and gets off to a flyer, gets ahead of the rate. Oh. So first look at Matt Boyle.
Quick leggies, I can tell you from watching Free Bridges on the YouTube channel. Straight away, Billings has to use his feet. And with that single, that's 100 up for Kent. In the place they want to be. He's setting up this chase pretty nicely with wickets in hand. Drag down. Chance though. And that's another wicket on a drag down for Kent. This time it's Bell-Drummond. Cannot get all of it. It should have gone into the stands. Instead it's headed straight into Middlesex fielder's hands, and that's a wicket for Boyle on a disappointing end for a good innings from Bell-Drummond.
Yeah, almost a carbon copy of the Zach Crawley dismissal. Drag down and you think you're hitting it out the park. If you don't get it out of the screws, you can pick out the boundary fielders. So this is what happened here. When he hit it, I knew he was in trouble. Just didn't make that sound off the bat that you're looking for. And straight down the throat of Bosch. So he has to go 47 off 34, decent touch. And we're used to Joe Denley wandering in this season at number 5. Not today. It is Jaden Denley on debut, left-hander. Great opportunity for him here. 73 to win off 46. Good player of spin, left-handed. Kent have been crying out for a lot of this campaign. Good to see him in. Bowled nicely. 3 overs, 1 for 21. And now he's going to hopefully show his stronger string. His batting.
We're all excited for this. You called it earlier. Promote Denley above Finch, especially when it seems to call the spin. Sorry. Middlesex possessed, turning it in to the left-hander. So here he goes, first delivery. And he gets a pretty nice one to get off the mark. That's always nice.
Yep, just chops that one away. Been in pretty decent touch. 100 on a poor wicket at Tunbridge Wells 3 weeks ago. 70 yesterday against Blackheath.
Appeal. Interesting to see.
James Treadwell unmoved. I'd like to see that on replay. Billings was working it to the leg side, so you'd imagine it might have been sliding down. But the slope and the spin would suggest everything working in his favour. Yeah, I think maybe just missing leg stump. Pretty good decision from James Treadwell. It certainly wasn't middle.
Oh, but he is gone now. He's run past one. And that's 2 in the over for the New Zealander. And it's the set 2. And the skipper, Billings, goes for 26 just after surviving that LBW shout. He's run past one.
Oh dear, shame. Playing so beautifully, wasn't he? And just, we talked about his options against the spin. The kind of reverse sweep, and he does like to use his feet. I've always got a bit of an issue when a leggie's bowling and you're running down the wicket at him, especially, I don't know, Matt Boyle's leg breaks. He could be a proper bowler, but he might be a batter that bowls leg breaks, occasional leg breaks, and that means you're going to get a bad ball. Daniel Burr-Drummond got a bad ball, and unfortunately swiveled and pulled it straight down someone's throat. But to me, that gives you an indication that he's going to bowl you a couple of drag downs and over. Jaden Denley got a bit of a drag down that he could just whack for 1 to get off the mark. So the danger of running at a leg spinner who's dragging it down, they're the ones that spin and run straight past one. So Billings goes. Good opportunity for Finch and Denley and Ekant Singh and Grant Stewart if we get that far. Hopefully these two might do the job. But suddenly a game that Kent were cantering, coasting to victory, is now very much back in the balance, probably just tipped in favour of Middlesex. 2 wickets in the over.
Finch really seems to be Kent's man for all seasons, batting all over the place this year. He's opened, replaced some EAA 5, and Friday now comes in at 6. Well, it's a good opportunity, as you say, for this lower middle order with 2 youngsters in there to impress this Kent crowd and get their side over the line.
Yeah, well, whatever happens, it's going to be a learning experience. It's been a learning experience for Singh and Denley already today. They've had 6 overs between them, and they're going to have an opportunity with the bat. So it's a dead rubber. Would have loved to have seen them come in a bit earlier in the piece in terms of this campaign, when the games were really on the line, because that's when you learn the most. But just a good opportunity here to show what they can do. And Finch, good man to have up the other end, actually. Very experienced, very calm. Bit of a misfield there from Tom Helm. They get at least 2. I think they might get a 3rd. So Denley's quick between the wickets. Reverse sweep, bit of improvisation from Finch. Probably should have only been 1. He gets 3. And that'll be the question for these two. I think particularly Finch, where do you hit your boundaries against spin? We've seen a lot of the time the other night when he, so much the Surrey game, but previously he's been kind of run a ball, 40 off 38, that kind of thing. He can go quickly in the power play. When the field's spread, where's his boundaries? I like that reverse sweep. Good option.
Have a drag down, and thankfully this one wasn't hit into a fielder's hands.
No, you can go on top of that, hit it down. I think that's your option. You've either got to hit it down or you've got to make sure you clear the ropes. We saw Ben Geddes do that brilliantly, getting underneath it, backing his power, hitting it 10, 20 metres over the rope. If you don't back your power, you've got to pick a gap or hit it on the floor.
You've obviously seen a lot more of Jayden. Where are his areas and strength?
Well, he's got a good slog sweep. If they're dropping, particularly batting at this end, they might obviously stay away from spin, although Matt Boyle is going to continue. But if he lobs that one, gives it a bit of flight and lands it on a perfect length, then Jayden might fancy the slog sweep. Certainly got the power. He's not a big man, but he's strong. He's got the power to clear that rope. Likes the slog sweep. He can hit straight, he can reverse, but yeah, the slog sweep is really his option. And against the quicker man, he'll look to flay it through the offside. So backward point, extra cover, strong in that area of front and back foot.
Again, a bit short, allowing Finch to get onto the back foot and cut that ball
But
away.
Middlesex won't mind this. It's 11, the rate is 11. So when you're chasing 11 and over, you do need to find a boundary. They're hitting the gaps nicely. They're picking up the ones. The reverse sweep for 3 was useful, but you can't just keep going at ones when you need 11. So it's where is the boundary coming from?
Well,
And that is the answer. Went for the reverse sweep, dragged down. I think he's hit it all the way. No, James Trevor signals 4. I thought that might just have cleared the rope, but almost. The good thing about this shot, as we're about to see the replay, is he didn't get the usual length and he reacted to the short one. It wasn't a great delivery, but because he didn't overcommit to the reverse sweep, he was able almost to reverse pull, reverse scoop it over the top. Not a great bit of bowling, but nicely played from Jayden Denley, and that's exactly what he's got to do. You need to score at a decent rate when you need 11s, so you can't keep just picking up singles, and you know that.
well,
Just for a second,
yeah.
heart was in mouth there. I thought he'd pick that out. I think he was trying to go a little bit squarer than that, maybe over extra cover. It's an ambitious shot with the ball turning in and with the slope. Maybe he was trying to go dead straight. I think that might have been, I'm seeing him rehearse the shot. I think he was looking to go dead straight over the bowler's head, which is a better option. I think this is the way to go. If Finch keeps knocking the singles and you let Jayden try and find the boundaries, got the experienced man, needs to be there. If you Kent to win this from here, Denley, Singh, you've got the power of Stewart. They need to play little cameos you get a little 20 off 12, it could be a match-winning contribution.
Again, rushing Denley. But this has been Kent's Achilles heel for a few seasons now, is once you're through that top order, the power coming this low mid. Of course, we've seen Grant Stewart on a number of occasions power the ball home, but really the consistent.
Yeah, Grant Stewart's done it once or twice. He's done it in the one-day cup. This is obviously a level up from that, given the amount of players that are missing in the one-day cup, so you get slightly more inexperienced bowler, slightly easier fare at times, and can bludgeon the ball to the boundary. I also think he often comes in with 2 or 3 overs to go in the blast. Such is the short nature of the game, he doesn't often have time to get set.
Well, that is a glorious shot from Harry Finch. Lofted cover drive against Holman, beautifully away to the boundary. That is a confidence boost if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, that's high class from Finch. Got exactly where he wanted. Full. He just gave himself a little bit of room, in truth. Able to go inside out over extra cover. One of the toughest shots in the book. Got the length he wanted. Just created that little bit of room.
Where do you see Jaden Denley's future lying? In the middle order or up near the top?
I think he'd love to get higher up the order, but I think for the moment, you look at who he's got to get past, and you've also got the likes of Ben Dawkins waiting in the wings. I think this is a good role for him in this side. This one's gone straight up. Will it land safe? I think it will. So a little bit of luck, and it spins. He should get back for 2. No, good decision. And, fielder was going in circles there, and as soon as the ball hit the deck, it spun violently to that slog sweep he was going for. So often that goes straight up. So a little bit of fortune.
I think it's still the right option for Jaden. Take on the leg spin.
Yeah, absolutely. Kent need boundaries, and the matchup's a decent one. It's quite a long hit on that side, but if he can find a pocket, he doesn't necessarily need to hit it for 6. And he's gone. So Holman, a bit too clever. Saw him coming. Looked like he wanted to go inside out over the offside. Probably not the option. And it was quicker and flatter, and Denley has to go. So a bit lucky the ball before. He's gone for 9. Great learning opportunity. But Kent lose their 5th, 123 for 5. Time for a bit of Ekant Singh. See the trajectory on this one. Quicker, flatter. And with mid-off up, kind of suckered Denley into looking to go inside out and over mid-off, and that's probably not the area. But one to learn from. Still been a pretty decent contribution on debut. Now Ekant, fascinating to see how he gets on, having trod on his stumps on debut.
Yeah, bizarre that was, but not after he'd hit a beautiful shot. So before that, but a really good outing with the ball earlier on, getting the wicket deploy, and saw a number of his change-ups and good turn of pace. Now you'd still say this is his main weapon with the bat.
Yep, don't think he'd disagree with you. He'd still see himself very much as a batsman first.
Game certainly in the balance here.
So well bowled Luke Holman. 4 overs, 1 for 30. Good contribution with the bat as well. A dangerous customer. He's certainly one of Middlesex's better T20 players. They've had a tough run in this format of the game for a number of years. Won it in 2008. They beat Kent in that dramatic final at the Rose Bowl. But other than that one success, very rarely do they reach the latter stages of the competition. Been lean pickings for them, and once again this campaign. So Holman has done a good job.
Straight away, this one, the outside edge. Now hurry back for 2. Not quite where he meant that to go.
No, not quite where he meant it. What I like about Ekanji is he has a lot of conviction about the way he goes about things. You know, he's not going to die wondering. He'll see this as an opportunity and a situation to take on rather than anything to fear.
Nice looking shot. It's not just the one. Boyle into his 3rd over. Obviously had that double success. Getting Bell, Drummond and Billings. But you fancy he's still more of a batter who bowls. This is an opportunity for the Kent players to get on top here. This rate ever increasing. Finch going for the reverse, not connecting.
We talked about, didn't we, players having second strings. I mean, you think what Boyle's dished up here, he's bowled some half-decent leg breaks, he's turned it, he's dragged half of his deliveries down, halfway down the pitch. But if you've got a big field and you've got the leg side field back with a lot of cover, it can be tricky.
Thankfully, that wasn't collected cleanly. Could have been tight. Singh back on strike. Get straight. It'll still just be the one.
Two for 15 for Boyle. Last ball of his 3rd over. These are remarkable figures, really. But a part-time leg spinner.
He'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, 2 for 16 from 3.
Especially considering perhaps some of the deliveries that have been thrown down. Kent 135, 17 through, needing 43 off 18. Time to put down the hammer here, requiring 14s now. Pitch that hasn't been that easy all day. This is going to be a tough ask.
And here we go. Zafar Gohar back into the attack. Finch and Singh, 2 right-handers. Jaden Denley gone. The reverse hitting Sam Billings gone. So the perfect time to reintroduce your premier spinner. It has been the spin that has put the skids under Kent here, as I thought it might be. Kent winning the toss, opting to bowl. The spin was always going to be a factor on this tired pitch. See what they can do with Gohar. Helps.
But if they persist with spin, I wonder if that makes Rogers an option. Obviously you've got Stewart, but the left-handed Rogers, who not this year, but we know has got a lot of power.
Yeah, I think Stewart's got to come in next. I think if he got those drag downs from Boyle, he might deposit them. And he's bowled. So Finch goes. Zafar Gohar did just bowl that one into the pitch. I wouldn't call it a drag down. It was more deliberate back of a length, skiddy kind of delivery. And Finch going for the pull shot. And he perishes as well. So it will bring Grant Stewart to the crease.
I think it's fair to say that Stewart has a touch more power than Finch, so in these circumstances.
Yeah, it was a funny one, wasn't it? He knew from that length that his chance was to pull it over mid-wicket, a bit like Ben Geddes did, but it's not He doesn't probably have the levers or the power to do that, Harry Finch, so he kind of was giving it everything and forgot to keep his head down and really watch the ball onto the bat. Just lifted the old head and ball skidded through, hit middle and off. But unlucky the other night, Friday night, run out backing up Harry Finch, kind of run a ball 18, 19 and run a ball 15 today. He's a useful campaigner, but I never feel he's going to chase 13, 14 by himself. Going to need a bit of help from the other end. Very, very useful cricketer for Kent, though. Plugs gaps. No Joe Denley, in he comes. No Tawanda Miyeye, top of the order. If he needs to keep wicket, he can do that. He's got a lot of bases covered, Harry Finch. But that raid had just got a little bit too high. Just see the difference, don't you, with Sam Billings playing Gohar with that powerful switch hit reverse sweep option. It's like a different game.
Well, I think Kent will take that.
Yep, 5 wides, take those. I think, in fairness to Gohar, he saw Stewart give himself some room and just thought he'd follow him, but just got it a bit too much down the leg side.
We haven't really had a Stewart special yet this season. Could this be the game? First up, Singh on strike, the youngster.
Oh, he's picked him out. It was a nice looking shot, but it just picked out extra cover. It was clever bowling from Gohar. He just threw it wider. And he chased it and nearly got it over loose deploy. He took a good catch above his head, nailed it. But just a little bit too much for these youngsters to do. This rate has just been steadily climbing. And Ekant Singh goes for a runnable 5. And now Tom Rogers does come to the crease. Kent rather fading away here. We've seen this tail a little bit too often in the 2026 Blast campaign, but you can see here Gohar just threw it wider as he gave himself some room, which meant he had to stretch for it. He didn't quite get the middle of the bat. If Deploy hadn't intercepted it, I think it would have gone for 4. Hit it well enough. Couldn't get it over him.
Being strangled by the spin here, Kent.
Yeah, we saw that at Worcester, didn't we, on a pitch which was very conducive to spin. Rolled out very cheaply on that occasion. And it's some canny operators here. Gohar, one of the best in the business. Red ball, white ball, very canny.
Hit hard. They will come back for 2. No chance. Buzzers in the end. Two overs to go. Kent require 35. And it will be a skillful Tom Helm to come on from the pavilion end with all his change-ups. And Grant Stewart looking to dispatch him. Need a few lusty blows here now from the Italian international if Kent are going to get close.
Look at that, St Lawrence ground free wife. I've outstayed my welcome, Cam. Just been booted off the Wi-Fi. I had all my scores and all my notes, and it's been booted off.
Yes, it's getting to the end of the
Getting to the end of the campaign.
yeah.
The Wi-Fi's had enough. It's just given up on me. So.
With someone like Helm, do you set up for the slow one or the quicker delivery?
That's a good question. He does bowl a lot of slower balls at this time. But, yeah, maybe the slower one.
There we go. Stewart can't connect, it'll only be the one. Nicely bowled from Helm in the block hole. Rogers can't get underneath it. Let's take the single. 10 balls remaining here. Boundaries are needed, and boundaries are needed fast for Kent.
Yeah, 32 to win off 10. It feels like Grant Stewart is the only man possible, capable. Well, I say that. I mean, Tom Helm doing us a little bit of a favour at the moment. He keeps bowling there, trying to go that kind of wide Yorker, stay out of his arc. Remember Grant Stewart famously winning a game, one-day cup game with a 6, I think, and boshed it over the deep mid-wicket, square leg boundary. Does go well against Middlesex, the famous pink ball game where he got 100 and wickets. Another one who likes this particular opposition.
Work to do. They do come back for 2. But still, Middlesex don't mind 2s right now.
Well, the news from Hove is that Hampshire are suddenly making a much better fist. 152 for 5, need 35 of 26.
Gosh.
As Tom Helm decides to give Kent a helping hand here. So yeah, Ben Mays 41 of 27, the England under-19 batter, and Hilton Cartwright, the overseas, 55 of 23. So they are still gunning for top spot. It was after Albert went for 5, Vince for 9, Dawson for 6. Gita for 2, so 61 for 5 is now 152 for 5, and Hampshire look like they're going to win that one and make Surrey have to win their game to top the group.
Big heave from Stewart, missing it entirely. You fancy if these 2 last deliveries from Helm do not clear the boundary. Been bridged too far for this Kent side. Oh, there we go. We've waited for it. And into the Colin Cowdrey stand. Stewart goes with that lusty blow. And the Kent fans have something to cheer about.
Yeah, 150 up and in style from Grant Stewart. That is what he can do. He has the power, likes it just about there. Room to swing the arms. And he has just annihilated that over wide, long on.
Oh, it's well bowled. Dug in, slow. Stewart looked to wait for it and he's ended up slapping it for 1 down the ground. Kent required 21 off the last.
Well, can't get up here. It's going to be a lot of fun this last over. Grant Stewart, the right man's on strike. He's got the shorter leg side boundary. And he needs to channel his inner Carlos Brathwaite. This is what he gives you down the order, Grant Stewart. And feel if he could just get in a little bit earlier, get his eye in, knock it around for a bit so he's set. It's so difficult to go from ball one. And he's probably a little one-dimensional when he's striking, in the sense that he needs that ball to whack over long on mid-wicket. He can flay it through the offside as well if he gets width, but he really wants it in his wheelhouse so he can pummel it down to where we are. So he could be in the game here. And this is good to see as well. Navya Sharma, the youngster, being trusted by loose deploy it to bowl the final over. So could have a game on here. If the first one disappears for 6, see what the youngster's made of. That is well bowled. I think it's quite clever bowling. A lot of people stay away from that leg side because of the short boundary, but actually what a batter like Stewart wants is room to swing his arms. So if you get about off stump just outside, it means it's in their hitting zone. Think about a baseball batter that's going to take a pitch. He wants that ball almost so he can straighten his arms and let it rip. When you go in at the pads, you kind of cramp them for room.
Different to someone like a Billings who can obviously get down. And
yeah, and Billings can kind of drop kick. Stewart wants to strike it, so I think it's to tuck him up. I always think against tailenders like that, you go hard, either leg stump full or straight at the body over the top of leg stump. Working up a bit of pace here, Sharma. Great start from the youngster. So 20 to win, 4 balls remaining. Kent need 5 a ball. That'd be good.
Yeah.
4 5s.
That'd be good.
I bet that's never been done in T20 Blast history. Quick single followed by 4 overthrows. Do that 4 times.
Job's a good one.
There'll be questions to be asked. So here we go, Grant Stewart. 3 6s for a super over. Just take the tie. Give the crowd a super over. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Probably not in the rules, but you know, why not?
It's a dead rubber.
It's a dead rubber. We do what we like. Phone the ECB and say, yeah, the crowd wanted more. 2:30 start. They were enjoying themselves.
Absolutely.
3 6s. Chance of super over starts. Stewart to keep the game alive. Oh, hold on a second. 3 6s now wins it.
But you see the idea from Sharma, as you were saying before, tucking up both these batters. Done it well so far.
Well, if you bowl a really good Yorker on the pads, the only thing he can do with it is flick it for 4, which is not going to be enough.
Yeah.
But of course, if he gets it wrong and he keeps sliding it down the leg side, then all of a sudden a boundary might be enough. Quality bowling. Just backing himself to get the Yorker in. And that looks like game, set and match, barring many more wides or overstepping. 17 to win off 2. Looks like Middlesex are going to avenge that opening day defeat at Lord's. It's been impressive, Sharma.
Superb bowling.
Just run up and bowl that every ball.
Yeah.
He'll make his way into that international T20 side before too long. Very, very fine Yorker bowling. And that is that, everyone. Middlesex have won here. They played some good cricket second half of this match. They've won by 14 runs, posted 172 for 6, and Spitfires finish on 158 for 7. A campaign that promised so much early on in the piece, never really materialised. In the end, Kent's record is played 12, won 4, lost 8, and that is not going to be good enough. We already knew that, to get them through to the knockout stages. And there's been some highlights, the batting of Sam Billings throughout this competition. But Kent just not quite good enough. Good to see some youngsters getting some experience today, but the tale of the tape is that Middlesex made 172 for 6 without any major contributions. Luke Holman top scoring with 34 off 22 down the back end. Ben Geddes 32 off 21. There were good bowling performances. 2 for 33 from Hassan Mahmood, who's been excellent. 2 for 31 from Lintott. Jaden Denley and Ekant Singh, the youngsters, both returning figures of 3 overs, 1 for 21. And the run chase at one stage appeared to be pretty straightforward. Daniel Bell-Drummond and Sam Billings together were cantering. 47 off 34, Daniel Bell-Drummond. All changed in that Matt Boyle over. Pulled a long hop down Ethan Bosch's throat at deep square. So Bell-Drummond went, and then Sam Billings, just a couple of balls later, ran past one to be stumped by Joe Cracknell off Boyle for 26. And then the lower order just didn't quite have the experience or the power to get the job done. So Middlesex win here by 14. It has been a bit of a tale of the competition. Kent just falling short. Cameron Emmanuel Burns, just to sum up the campaign from your perspective.
I think actually this game showcased a few of the struggles Kent have had, struggling against spin, up bar Billings, that middle order. It strangled us today, it strangled us throughout. Think back to Worcestershire. And then a lack of power at the end, can't quite get over the line. But I think what's most disappointing is that these last 4 games were in a real opportunity to go through after that really impressive win against Hampshire here. And then 4 defeats on the trot means that we've ended nowhere near. And it's a shame because, if you, as I say, you look at that top 4, and that could get into any side across the land, but it's not quite gelled. Billings, superb, not enough support around him. Influx of different overseas. We've seen Hassan Mahmood come in. He's been impressive. That's something to look forward to. But what I'll take away is the youngsters. New generation. Perhaps we'll see Dawkins as well coming in. That's something to look forward to. And we roll on to the Metro Bank One Day Cup, where we'll see a few more of those performers and try and take what learnings we can from these last few games. But ultimately, pretty disappointing. I feel Kent have underperformed.
Yeah, I mean, Billings, he looks slightly frustrated there, doesn't he? It was a bit of a smile. Adam Hollyoak was smiling. He'll know that this team can do better. And you're right about the youngsters in the Metro Bank. It's just going to be a great opportunity to see them continue to emerge. I think that was probably the disappointing thing for me. There was maybe an opportunity missed, the likes of Tawanda Miyeye, when he got that concussion. Maybe that was an opportunity to slide a Ben Dawkins in. He has been away with England under-19s, and Harry Finch is such a useful performer. You kind of want to get him involved in the team, but maybe that was an opportunity missed. That's with hindsight, of course. But, you know, seeing Jaden Denley out there and Ekant Singh out there, there is so much promise from this squad. The senior players didn't quite get it done. Things have gone against Kent, let's be honest. Dean Forrester, must talk about him. He seemed like a really good signing, and played just a couple of games. Lit up his first one with a 3-for and an unbeaten 40. And the Kent faithful were thinking, wow, we've got a good one here. And then he disappears to play in the MLC, and never quite found the equivalent player, the left-hander with power, who could bowl seam. So Zach Crawley there, you can see signing autographs. Never really had his best stuff in 2026. It's been tough for him.
Yeah.
You know, dropped from England, difficult Ashes, just trying to find some form to stay in that England team. The disappointment of being dropped. So he hasn't had his best stuff. Hopefully he can find it for the end of the season, because you feel that 2027 is going to be a really pivotal year in his career. But he's a fine player and a lovely lad as well, so I'm sure he'll be back. And then the gambling with the likes of Tom Rogers, you know, he's been a decent servant early on in his Kent career, but shoulder injury hasn't quite come back the same Tom Rogers. So, yeah, Kent not quite having things all their own way. Tawanda Miye's concussion taking him out for 5 games. Also, not ideal. But Kent, in truth, if they look in the mirror, as I'm sure they will, and Adam Hollyoake and Sam Billings will know, ultimately just not quite good enough. After the first few games, they would have thought, yep, we can do this. But a record of played 12, won 4, lost 8 tells its own story.
Especially when, if you actually look, this group has probably been the most attainable to get through. The other two have been perhaps a bit of a higher standard, and it's a shame because, as you say, it started off so brightly. Look, there's the Bananas, hopefully going to get their autographs, but injuries, perhaps a bit of a soft underbelly at times. Billings was pretty furious at the end of the previous game, and it's not great when he says a game that is worse than a 59 or whatever it was against Worcestershire all out. He's saying there was a worse performance than that. That kind of sums things up in these last few games. Ken had a real opportunity, I think, to go far in this competition, but things didn't quite go our way. A lot of learning, but again, I hark on, I think the young talent that's in this side is something to really excite going forward.
Yeah, and that combination of senior players, such as Daniel Bell-Drummond, the club captain. Don't forget, Kent had plenty to play for in the Championship. After a slow start, they've really found some momentum and promotion in the Championship. He's always going to be a priority, but you're right, opportunity in this competition missed. Kent have got that blend of experience and youth, and the youth are going to get better, and Kent Singh and Jaden Denley, who you're seeing there, are only going to benefit from days like today. Jaden will learn a lot from that 9-10 balls, however long he spent in the middle, working out his game plan against spinners who are slightly higher quality than he would have seen before, bowling at good batters. If you drop it short to Ben Geddes, you disappear for 6. You know, he's going to learn those things. He's going to realise what it's like to play against slightly higher calibre opposition, and that can only stand him and the likes of Kent Singh in good stead. Sam Billings, the skipper, probably just apologising to the fans. He knows Kent haven't been good enough. He's been excellent at times, but it is the story of the campaign. Kent have played 12, they have won 4, they have lost 8, and they have gone down here to Middlesex by 14 runs. Thanks to Club Elite for their support of the live stream. Thanks to Cameron Emmanuel Burns for his co-commentary. Ivan Thomas for the game that he did, and all our guest commentators as well, as we bid you farewell from the 2026 Blast campaign. We hope to see you next year, if we get the gig, of course. Cameron would like to be up there in the flats in a nice posh hospitality box. Can't promise that. Can't promise we'll be back. We hope to be, and we hope that Kent will come back bigger, better and stronger in 2027. Their race has run. All the post-match reaction on the social media channels, and hopefully we'll see you next year. Thanks for watching.